As we are live for tonight's NASCAR Xfinity Series race coverage under the lights at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway for the running of the Ambetter Health 302 and our first race of the round of 8 of the NASCAR Xfinity Series playoffs as we go from 8 drivers down to 4 after these next 3 races. The 3 races in this round, of course, taking place at Las Vegas, mile and a half here tonight. Next weekend on Saturday of another mile and a half at the Homestead Miami Speedway. Following week after that will be at Martinsville, the Paperclip half-mile short track. We'll go through the starting line quickly for today's race. Points scrolling at the bottom of the screen, along with other race statistics. We'll go into a more deep dive of the point standings once we get into the middle of this race here today. But cars are on the racetrack, and we are getting set to go green shortly. Brandon Jones qualified on the pole yesterday, was practice to qualify for the NASCAR Xfinity Series, the first time that these cars will be on the track for today's side of things, with a little bit different track conditions, a little heavier wind, and obviously going into the nighttime as we get towards the end of this race, we'll be in complete darkness. As of right now, sun is shining on the racetrack as we have about low 70-degree temperatures. As far as Brandon Jones on the front row starting on the pole, Cole Custer also on the front row for this one, starting outside of that lane. In row number 2 will be more playoff drivers, Chandler Smith and Sam Mayer. Sammy Smith, Justin Allgaier making up row number 3. And row 4 will be Riley Herbst, Jesse Love, AJ Allmendinger, Ryan Sieg in row number 5. Ryan Sieg driving the 28 car this weekend and not the 39. Kyle Sieg usually in the 28, but Ryan is in that car here today. Parker Kligerman along with Eric Almirola lining up in row 6. Taylor Gray, Corey Heim, couple part-time drivers from the Truck Series full-time, running this Xfinity race here today for Toyota. Jeb Burton with Shane Van Gisbergen in row 8. SVG eliminated from the playoffs a week ago. Austin Hill starting mid-pack of the playoff drivers on the inside of row 9. Anthony Alfredo to his outside in that row. Jeremy Clements and Parker Retzlaff make up row 10. Row 11 for Dylan Lupton and Kyle Sieg. Josh Williams, Matt DiBenedetto in row number 12. Row 13 for Leland Honeyman and Dawson Cram. Kyle Weatherman, J.J. Yaley, row 14 behind them in row 15. Ryan Vargas and Daniel Dye in the 10 for Colleague Racing. Garrett Smithley and Brennan Poole deep in the field in row 16. Row 17 for Myatt Snyder and Ryan Ellis. Good to see Myatt back at the track again. Blaine Perkins, Joey Gase in row 18. And rounding out the field in row 19 will be Akinori Ogata and Sheldon Creed. Creed dropping to the rear of the field for the start of the race today. Engine change after practice yesterday afternoon. So that is our full field of 38 cars. Field will be getting the one-to-go signal this time by. Our scheduled distance tonight is 302 miles, 201 laps. So a little bit of a weird race length with that extra lap compared to recent years. I think we actually had this distance for the race last year as well. But newer in the sense that it's only been a couple of these fall Vegas races with the extra lap. Point standings, on the big screen now. Justin Allgaier with the points reset is now the number 1 seed yet again, as he will begin this round of 18 points above the cut line. Cole Custer at plus 11 points in second. Austin Hill plus 9 in third. And Chandler Smith in fourth at plus 8 points. Sam Mayer, first driver below the cut line to begin the round of 8 at minus 8 points. Minus 12 for Jesse Love. Minus 18 for AJ Allmendinger. And Sammy Smith at minus 19 points. Of course, his win at Dega in the last round pushed him into this round. He'll be the last seed once again. So that is the point standings outlook coming into this race here today. First 2 stages, each 45 laps in length. Our final stage will make up the final 108 laps. Can't do my math there. 111 laps, so it's 3 laps off. 111 laps in the final stage of the race here this evening. But that will make up our scheduled distance. A win and you advance to the Championship 4 if you're any one of those 8 drivers competing for the title. Majority of them starting up in the top dozen in the field today. Austin Hill, in fact, the only playoff driver to not start in the top 10. Eric Almirola running for the owner's standing, still driving the 20 car, as they were able to advance through the round of 8, or into the round of 8, excuse me. So we'll see what he can do, as they are still going for the Owners' Championship. Sheldon Creed obviously starting deep in the field in 20th as well, I guess, of the qualifying drivers The only ones not to qualify top 10 was Austin Hill, but again, an engine change for Sheldon Creed, dropping him to the rear for the start of the race today. The race is on the CW yet again, as it will be for the rest of the Xfinity Series season, as well as from 2025 and beyond through the end of the next TV window, TV contract of 2031. You can vote for who you think is going to win the race in our chat poll. That will be open all the way until the end of Stage 2. Quick shout out to those of you that are in the stream right now. We've got Beam Madness, Robert Goodrich, thanks for tuning in. Several others of you not in the chat at the moment, but appreciate you watching. About to get this shindig on the road. The Ambetter Health 302. Just 4 more NASCAR Xfinity Series races, 3 after the conclusion of the race here this evening. Brandon Jones still trying to get a win before his tenure at JRM is up, as he is on the pole for the second time this season. Last time he started on the pole, he did not lead a lap. We'll see if he can get out in front early and try to lead out of the get-go here today. Green flag is going to be in the air. We're underway in the Ambetter Health 302 at Vegas for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Good launch for Brandon Jones on the inside of row 1. And he is elected for this initial start. Good push from behind by the inside car of row 2 of Chandler Smith as well to launch him off into the first turn. And Cole Custer side by side for third with Sammy Smith off the exit of turn 2. Top 2 cars single files. Chandler Smith rolls into second. 4 wide nearly off the exit of turn 2, just outside the top 10. And there's a trash bag, it looks like, on the back straightaway. Not sure what that was all about. It's like a normal, like, trash can style, dumpster style trash bag. As it still lays on the back straightaway, you got to hope that that is not going to get stuck on another car. It's whipping around underneath a bunch of cars on the back straightaway in the outer line. Cole Custer won the battle for third on the opening lap of the race. Lap 2, he gets back into second, passing Chandler Smith. Going to try to go one spot better on lap 3 if he can get by the race leader, Brandon Jones. The pole sitter has led now the first 2 laps of this race today. Holds a couple car length lead into turns 1 and 2 over the 00. All these cars down in that middle to bottom group for the initial start here, but we'll see that line widen out all the way towards the wall by the end of the race. On lap number 3, a dive to the inside for Justin Allgaier, looking underneath Taylor Gray in the 19. Jesse Love all over the back bumper of both cars as they're side by side off the exit of turn 4. More momentum to the slightly wider cars in the center of 3 and 4 in that middle groove. Love, Gray, all getting by Allgaier. Parker Kligerman to the outside of the 7 as well. 7 hooked down on that white line through 3 and 4. It pulls clear to the 48. And now he's got the 28 of Ryan Sieg underneath him. Trouble looked like off of turn 2 down the back stretch. A lot of damage on the right rear corner panel of the 42 car. I believe that is Leland Honeyman. And the caution flag is out for the first time today. The 14 also slow on the racetrack.
Slow. The 14 of J.J. Yaley is having an issue. 92 of Dawson Cram, if you're a Dawson Cram fan, he didn't even make it to the green flag. They had transmission issues, and now he's behind the wall. But a lot of damage to Leland Honeyman here.
You see at the far right of your screen, just really sideways. This is entering 1. I think we're going to have a big correction back to the right here. Oh, it gets it back under control. Kind of goes up, catches the 14, makes contact. So the 18 of Sheldon Creed, he's starting in the back. He had to change an engine yesterday, so expect to see him in the front.
A lot of damage to the 42 of Leland Honeyman Jr., J.J. Yaley. Obviously, with a little bit of damage after the contact with the 42. First caution's out already.
But then was a...
So our first caution of the day, just a few laps into the race. Brandon Jones, who started on the pole, has led the first 5 now as we circuit under caution. Debris on the back straightaway following an on-track contact between Leland Honeyman and J.J. Yaley. Yaley remains on the lead lap at the moment. Honeyman with the right rear corner panel damage has dropped off the lead lap, and Dawson Cram, as you heard from Rick Allen over the broadcast, had not made it to the start of this race. Transmission issue for the 92. That car is in the garage. Trying to get him out on the track so he can complete a lap in this one. I would imagine you have to at least start a lap to get race winnings, you would think. I don't know if that's the actual rule in the NASCAR rule book, so don't quote me on that, but it'd be interesting to see if they can get back out on the track just for the sake of that alone. Quite a bit of damage to the right side of Honeyman's race car. All over the place those first few laps. A loose moment and a save off turn 2. 1 lap for the next incident. Definitely didn't take long. Oh, I thought I thought we were going to get back to the CW there for a second with the NASCAR action. There's like a long pause in between these two ads on the commercial, but it was just for a Culver's ad. Almost unmuted it just for that. By the way, pretty good Butterburgers at Culver's. It's been a minute since I've had it, but they've got some good food there. Maybe it's that fresh Wisconsin cheese they put on their burgers. Maybe that's the difference. If you're reading this and haven't, you better like the stream. Otherwise, Kevin LePage, turn into the pack and take out your favorite driver. He may just do that. So you might want to hit the like button on the stream because we don't want that happening, do we? Now, how would that work if they have the same favorite driver as me? Like, what if that happens to Blaney tomorrow? Because some Blaney fans out there didn't like the stream. That's kind of a double whammy. You know, then you're getting my favorite driver taken out. And you're really going to make me upset for not hitting that like button.
Coverage of the NASCAR Xfinity Series brought to you by Credit One Bank, NASCAR American Express Card, and by Toyota. Let's go places. Beautiful scenery out here in the desert. On the strip. And a lot of race fans able to enjoy racing this weekend as the round of 8 is underway. Didn't take long for the first caution to come out here.
Nope.
Leland Honeyman, as well as the 14 of J.J. Yaley involved.
Little surprise, Brandon Jones shows the bottom here. The preferred line is the outside. If Colt Custer could leave the restart zone and stay door to door with Brandon Jones, I would think he would be in the preferred position.
This is where he started the race. So he's thought it worked the first time. We'll see if he can do it again.
A little bit on the tires.
Brandon Jones, and then 9 on the inside. Colt Custer on the outside. The double.
All right, green flag back in the air. Repeat of what we had on the front row for the first initial start of the race. Brandon Jones inside and Cole Custer on the outside. Green flag back in the air. Much better restart for Custer this time around. Gets a good push from behind. While Brandon Jones may get split 3 wide middle going into 1 and 2. His teammate, Sammy Smith, underneath him. Smith with an even bigger push from behind from his teammate, Sam Mayer. And Sammy Smith gets to the lead off turn 2. 2 JRM cars working together to get past another. They did both go down to the apron after crossing the start-finish line, which is legal. You just got to get past the start-finish line first before changing your lane. And Brandon Jones not only falls out of the lead, but it's going to fall all the way back to 4th. 3 positions lost for Jones on that restart. 4 wide on the front stretch heading towards turn 1. Allgaier with an aggressive dive bomb to the apron on the front stretch and passes all 3 of those cars he was looking to pass. Mayer, Almirola, and Gray. And Sam Mayer continues to fall back as he lost a ton of momentum, lifting to get out of the 4 wide battle going off into turn 1. and almost got ran over from behind by several other cars in the next corner through 3 and 4 as he was still trying to get that momentum back up again. So Mayer, after restarting inside of row 3, 5th place, has fallen all the way back to 14th is where he scored that last time by. So Sammy Smith leads his first laps of the day as he's out in front of the field for each of the last 2 laps now. Cole Custer in the 00 car running hot on his heels in the 00 now heading into turns 3 and 4. Custer in the middle groove, bottom groove for Sammy Smith. Better run coming up on corner exit from turn 4 for Custer, trying to stay the draft in the middle of the front stretch now as Sammy continues to lead another lap. These 2 cars getting out ahead of the rest of the field. 0.2 of a second lead for Sammy Smith at the line that last lap over Cole Custer in second. 3rd place, Brandon Jones is right back up there. He got back by the 81 of Chandler Smith. Jones is second off the lead, 2.5 back for Chandler Smith in 4th. A.J. Allmendinger rounds out the top 5 at a 2.5 off the lead. Sammy's holding on a lot stronger than I initially thought he was going to. I feel like I'm almost a full lap behind on the CW with what I have on the raw feed with our live leaderboard right now, so I apologize for that. I know the CW has been a little slow for me compared to some of the other network television races for like on NBC or a Fox throughout the season, so I'm not sure exactly why that's been the case, but if I'm maybe a little bit more behind for you guys, I apologize for that. You can blame Hulu. Custer's kind of been running in that same line mid-corners for the most part behind Sammy Smith, maybe a little wider in 3 and 4. 1 and 2 very identical lines. Even running that middle groove through 3 and 4 to get him just a slight bit more straightaway speed than Sammy Smith all the way hooking the bottom on the white line. He just hasn't been able to build enough of a run to get that dive bomb needed down into 1 and 2 to make the pass. Sammy Smith now goes to the middle groove through turns 1 and 2 this time. Custer to the bottom of the track, and that time he got alongside of him. Didn't need the dive bomb to do it. Now can he clear in 3 and 4? He does on corner entry. And as Custer slides up the racetrack, we'll see if Sammy Smith's got anything of a crossover for him. You can tell Smith's getting a little loose center of the corner. The car is wiggling around a lot more than the stability that we saw out of the 00. And Custer takes his first lead of the race. So 3 different drivers have led in these first 15 laps now. Custer the newest as he leads his first lap of the race. Sammy Smith through 1 and 2 gets to the bottom of the track and almost gets right back underneath the Custer. Briefly side by side down the back straightaway as Sammy tries to hang on that left rear corner panel. A little bit of a side draft there. Runs the bottom through 3 and 4, pushing hard just to keep up with him. Custer gets the drive off in the middle groove again. Definitely seems like Custer's better in 3 and 4 than Sammy Smith. Smith can hold his own in 1 and 2, but it's not enough. Brandon Jones is slightly faster the last couple laps than that of the 2 cars ahead of him. We'll see if he can continue to keep that gap closing as we get further into this green flag run. And who can manage their tires the best here in this first stage? Obviously not going a full fuel run in stage 1, or stage 2 for that matter. Each of these 2 stages only being 45 laps in length, but maybe a slight preview of what we'll see later in the race. This track's going to go through a bunch of changes. Again, we're starting in the daytime, we're ending in the night. Kind of polar opposite from what we're going to see in the Cup race tomorrow. The Cup race tomorrow, we're going to be starting local time, late morning hours, ending into the early to mid-afternoon. Rather, today, start temps will continue to drop here. They'll heat up over the course of the race tomorrow. So maybe the case for both events with the Xfinity and the Cup Series. The drivers who we are seeing out in front right now may not be those same drivers contending for the win when it's all said and done at the end of the night. Riley Herbst dominated his first career win at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Had to have thought Custer was going to be a contender here today in the same equipment. So far, so good for Cole. A little contact a couple laps ago between Chandler Smith and Justin Allgaier. It looked like Smith got a little out of shape, had to lift in the center of the corner. 7 car right in line behind him may have nudged him just a bit up the track he went. Stalled the 7's momentum out, and that allowed for the 16 of Allmendinger to get by for position. And Herbst initially got underneath the 7 after the stack up and the slow up for Allgaier, but he couldn't complete the pass, so Justin remains in 5th. Herbst in 6th. Chandler Smith falls to 7th after getting to 3rd place initially on this last restart. Top 10 in the running order after 20 laps. Cole Custer leading the way. Sammy Smith in 2nd. Brandon Jones 3rd. Justin Allgaier 4th. AJ Allmendinger in 5th. Riley Herbst 6th. Chandler Smith 7th. 8th for Eric Almirola. Ryan Sieg is up a spot to 9th as he just passed Taylor Gray. And Gray now remains in 10th. Announced earlier in the week that Taylor Gray will be running full-time at JGR in the Xfinity Series next season. Staying with the Toyota development program. Of course, full-time in the Truck Series this year, as he had made the playoffs for the 2nd consecutive season in the Truck Series. Still looking for his first win in the Truck Series, but he will get that full-time ride. We've seen him in a part-time effort in that 19 car specifically in various races this season. So it'll be interesting to see what he can do full-time in that car next year. Jeff Curry and Frank Powers, thanks for tuning in. What kind of alliance does Trackhouse have with Colleague? I'm not sure when it comes to the Cup Series level, because Trackhouse doesn't have an Xfinity Series program. They kind of lean on Colleague Racing as kind of being a feeder series for them. I don't know if that has to do with maybe Trackhouse renting a charter from Colleague Racing out. Like, I don't know if that is a thing or not. So I'm not exactly sure, because Trackhouse obviously has been out running Colleague Racing in the Cup Series level. So I'm not really sure who has the technical alliance with who. In that sense, I would imagine Colleague would have it with Trackhouse, but it would be weird to have that with a newer team than what Colleague Racing is, because Colleague's been around a little bit longer in the Cup Series level than Trackhouse, and with NASCAR as a whole for a lot longer. So yeah, I don't really know what kind of an alliance they really have. Sammy Smith getting motored around by his teammate Justin Allgaier, who just slipped to his outside and made the pass for 3rd through 3 and 4. About a lap or two after Brandon Jones had got by Sammy Smith for 2nd. So good fire-off speed in the short run for Sammy Smith to get to the lead with that 3-wide move on the restart. But now he's starting to fall backwards in the running order just a bit, getting passed by 2 teammates. And a Ford up at the front of the field. Now another Ford, Riley Herbst, is closing in on Sammy Smith for 4th. Austin Hill making a pass on Taylor Gray to move up in the top 10 for the first time today, or close to it. 11th place for Hill. His teammate Jesse Love actually takes up the final spot in the top 10 currently. Sam Mayer also getting by Taylor Gray as he follows the line that the 21 left open behind him on the bottom groove to make the pass, so Taylor's falling back a bit as he sits in 12th. So a few cars that started up at the very front of the field kind of fallen by the wayside in the early going of this one. Sam Mayer, who was up in the top 5 outside the top 10. Taylor Gray, who started top 10, now back to 13th. Sammy Smith on the restart has gone from 1st to 4th. Brandon Jones got to 4th on the restart after leading initially up to that first caution. Has rebounded back into 2nd place. In that last lap, Jones was about 3/10 quicker than that of race leader Cole Custer. So we'll see if he can continue on as we get later here in stage 1.
In the 2nd spot, Allgaier is 3rd, and Sammy Smith 4th. So right now, Junior Motorsports feeling pretty good about 3 inside the top 5. But they're still chasing after Cole Custer, who is up front at 1.6 second advantage over Jones. See the 42 of Honeyman back out on the track. He's been on pit road a couple times. Honeyman being scored at 5 laps down. Now his Dawson Fran, he was able to get back out on the racetrack after working on the transmission issue they had.
I think Allgaier's a little better here than the 9. He's trying to find the best way to work his way by. 18 laps to go on the stage. The 9 doing a nice job of kind of running his own lane, not giving the 7 any real space on the bottom of the racetrack.
Steve, fuel not an issue for stage 1 or 2?
Now, 45 laps they can run no problem. They can run about 60 laps, so that final stage they'll have to do a pit stop, but This is just a 45 lap Saturday night main feature right here.
Which for the 8 playoff drivers, very important because at the end of each stage, you get stage points or the opportunity if you finish inside the top 10 for stage points. And again, we know for a fact that one driver out of the 8 is going to make it on points.
Allgaier restarted 16th. He's driven up here to third, Marty.
And he's been so impressive, Jeff, working his way up through the field. And I chatted with Jim Pullman, his crew chief, yesterday, and I said, man, what a miserable last 4 weeks for you guys. He quickly corrected me. He said, you mean last miserable 6 weeks for us? He said, it has been so tough. And he said, I could see my driver and just his confidence and how he was really getting down on himself. But after the race at the Roval, when he knew that we had advanced to the round of 8, I saw my old driver back. I saw that pep in his step, and that's how he's been all week long. And Jeff, this is the Justin Allgaier that we saw much of the year. They were missing for the playoffs, but it looks like they have the speed. Can they finish it off and finally get to Phoenix and maybe win a championship?
Not a great track statistically over the Xfinity Series career for Justin Allgaier here at Las Vegas. 20 career starts, no wins yet at this track, and only 4 top 5 finishes in those 20 starts at the Xfinity Series level. Off to a hot start in this one, but again, we'll have those changing track conditions as we get into the nighttime skies by the end of this race. So can that 17 keep up and get Allgaier that first career win here at Vegas and lock themselves into the championship 4? Playoff drivers and where they're running right now on the leaderboard, you got Cole Custer leading the way, Justin Allgaier 3rd, Sammy Smith in 5th, AJ Allmendinger 6th, Eric Almirola for the owner standings in the playoffs in 8th, Chandler Smith back in the driver's side of things in 9th, Jesse Love 10th, Austin Hill 11th, Sam Mayer 12th, Sheldon Reed, he was eliminated from the playoffs, I guess, technically there. So that would be it. So all of them up at the front of the field right now, all in the top 12. 12 and a half laps to go in the first stage. Jones continuously closing in on Custer. I mentioned he was a couple tenths quicker a few laps ago on the 00. Now he's really starting to gain on him. Custer's moved all the way up to the outside line near the wall. Jones continuing down on the bottom of the racetrack. And problems for Shane Van Gisbergen on pit road.
Out of the playoffs after last week at the Roval, and he said the engine just completely shut off. He said it completely died, and he has no fuel pressure, so he limped it back to pit road. They're going to try and diagnose exactly what's going on with the 97 as they work on it right now. He says it won't turn over, it won't crank.
All right, so problems there for Shane Van Gisbergen, an engine failure or an engine issue of some sort for him. 11 to go now in stage 1 as Custer continues to lead. Brandon Jones initially off corner exit, got to within about 3 to 4 car lengths of the race leader. Caution lights are on, and the caution flag is now displayed for the second time today as it looks like the 15 of Dylan Lupton has an issue.
And 15 off the pace. He was running 35th at the time. And that's not a good sign when you're pushing the guy back, probably behind the wall. So unfortunate for SVG, who has won 3 times already in 2024. This was mentioned, no longer a part of the round of 8 or the playoffs. Was eliminated after the round of 12.
Interesting timing for this yellow. 10 laps to go in the stage. You know, if this was in the regular season, I think we would have a real split decision here. I believe all the playoff drivers are going to have to stay out and try to get these stage points at the end of the stage. Let's see what happens to the 15 of Dylan Lupton. He's pretty high right there, kind of up into the wall, right side contact. But Jeff, if you're the non-playoff guys like Brandon Jones or Riley Herbst, Ryan Sieg, you know, do you just go ahead and get your pit stop done now? We'll probably only run like 7 green flag laps to finish the stage. I think your tires do fall off a little, but not enough that with a heat cycle, I wouldn't have any problem having 7 laps wide tires to start the next stage. You can connect it all the way from here, looking at the math of laps. So I don't think this just is an easy stay out. Now, there's not normally a ton of strategy in these Xfinity races. We'll see if the front of the field splits on their decision here with only 2 laps to go in stage 1.
Along with Corey Heim there in the Toyota onboard. And
There you go. The playoff
Quickly.
drivers are starting.
quickly we see Custer, Allgaier, and making their way onto Progressive Pit Road, Kim.
Yeah, and crew chief Jonathan Tony gave the layout of what this lap count looks like to the end of the stage. So it's exactly falling into our plan. Cole reporting on still tight center, oozing the back on entry and exit. No grip, he said mainly the right front, so they will make an air pressure adjustment for fresh Goodyear tires to no growth fuel, Marty.
And with not the plan for Jim Pullman and Justin Oliver, they would have preferred to have taken the stage points here. Pullman says on the radio, I think we have much choice. We have to pit here. Allgaier did say on the left side vibration towards the end of that run. Also, his helmet hose has fallen off of his helmet inside the car, so he's not getting full air to his hand. Meanwhile, Sam Mayer said his car was a little bit too tight and a little too edgy on corner exit. Those JRM cars pitting here, Rick.
So coming off of Progressive Pit Road, and maybe a couple guys gambling on some strategy here. You know, the average gambling budget in Las Vegas is $787.
Jeez,
Some of us went over that this week.
average.
Money is tight. So
Average is $780. That's insane. That ain't in my budget, I'll tell you that much. So Brandon Jones going to be back in the lead with Allgaier and Custer both pitting. Custer giving up the lead. Going to have a handful of laps left when we get this next restart in stage 1. Bayer, thanks for tuning in. Jeff Curry, thanks for tuning in as well. Nathan Urich, welcome to the stream. Yeah, as far as SVG and AJ being teammates, they are teammates at the Xfinity Series level. It was a developmental contract initially that was signed for Van Gisbergen with Trackhouse Racing, but he is full-time in the NASCAR Xfinity Series at Colleague. That 97 car is a Colleague entry. It is not a Trackhouse entry. Trackhouse does not have Xfinity Series race teams. Just the 2 full-time at the Cup level right now. They are going to run a 3rd car for SVG as he'll be going to Cup full-time next season. No, 97 is not a Trackhouse car. It's an extra Colleague entry. There's 4 Colleague entries, 3 of them that run every week, and then the 10 car is ran on a part-time basis. Today we've got Daniel Dye in that car. And then obviously on the Cup side of things, that 13 car that we've seen at times this year in the Cup Series is a Colleague entry as well, which has been where SVG's been getting some of his extra seat time, like last week at the Roval. AJ's been in that car several times this year when he's not in the 16 and running Cup races. I'm interested to see what happens at the Xfinity Series next season with Colleague Racing. With AJ moving back to Cup full time, you know, who are they going to have there that can even make the playoffs, really? SVG full time too? I mean, their only 2 playoff entries this year are going to Cup full time next season. Hemrick hasn't won since he got there. Josh Williams has just been bad this year. Really bad. In that 11 car. I mean, outside of the super speedways, he's not having good runs. Yeah, I mean, he's 23rd again tonight. We saw Justin Haley, you know, he was making the playoffs in that car when he was full-time in the Xfinity Series, so you know, that car consistently running outside the top 20, that's just unacceptable. Hemrick, obviously full-time in the Cup Series right now, was full-time in the Xfinity level, but didn't win with them. So we'll see.
That's Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, only on News Nation and streaming on X.
So the split field means that these cars near the front are all on old tires. First car on new tires the double zero. He'll be a little bit further back in the field. It'll be interesting to see. There he is, about row 7 or 8, 9. This track is wide enough that those new Goodyears have enough grip. You're going to see him climbing this banking, trying to get positioned right away. Can he get up inside the top 10 and still score points?
There'll be 6 laps to go in stage 1, so not a lot of time to take advantage of that good in the good years. This time, Brandon Jones is taking that outside line. He was listening, John.
Interesting, but not a great restart through the launch in the restart zone for Jones on that outside lane, and Riley Herbst from the inside is going to pull clear and move up well before getting into turn 1, but he might have moved up a little too early. Car got underneath him sideways in the middle of the corner, though, and a big save by A.J. Allmendinger as he had to push from behind as well, and we're back to 4 wide on the back straightaway. All 3 starts or restarts in this race have had at least one part of 4 wide in it. And that time it was off turn 2 on the back straightaway, and they're nearly 4 wide on the front stretch as well outside the top 10. Cole Custer making some dicey moves in that outer lane as he tries to gain as many spots as he can before the end of the stage. Stage points on the line, obviously, here in a couple laps. 4.5 to go. Side by side for second between Allmendinger and Jones. Custer on the fresher tires is going to have a really good shot of winning the stage if he can get by the 9 and the 16 cleanly. 16 slips up on the bottom groove of the racetrack just a bit. Jones clear off turn 4. Custer. Big run. Where's he going to go? Nowhere to go. He's boxed in with the 16 and the 9 side by side again into turn 1. Didn't think AJ was going to get enough drive off the exit of turn 4 to get back to the inside of Brandon Jones, but he was able to initially, but not off turn 2 the following lap. Custer's on the outside of the 16 instead. Hey, Custer's got to go quickly because now Justin Allgaier's on his back bumper in the middle of 3 and 4. Big closing race, center of the corner. Custer to the outside of the 9 for second. Allgaier to the inside. Splits around Brandon Jones 3 wide. 3 to go in the stage. Custer leads the 7 for second place, but the 98 of Herbst is still out in front. Herbst eliminated from the playoffs last week. Custer Allgaier side by side, back straight away into turn 3. Custer drives it off so much deeper, even in that middle groove. Gets it to stick and takes the lead off turn 4 away from Herbst. And the 7 had to get up out of the bottom to get by the 98 in the same line that the double zero in front of him was able to pass Herbst for the lead with. So Allgaier to second on the second to last lap of stage 1 and Custer out in front. Custer's had some pretty good fire-off speed on these short runs today, but it definitely seems like in the early going through this first stage, Allgaier's had a better long-run car. Justin just hasn't quite gotten to the lead yet. And this is definitely as close as he's been interval-wise and as high as he has been in the race positioning order. 1 lap to go in stage 1. Custer bottom of the track, Allgaier in the middle. Trying to gain some time for the back straightaway. Custer's got a run. Not as big of a run as the 7 behind him, though. Allgaier closes the gap. Drives it in really deep to the bottom of the track in turns 3 and 4. Custer shuts that off to the bottom. The 7 wiggles. Keeps the power down. Just can't get alongside Custer. And Cole Custer is going to win stage 1 here tonight at Las Vegas. So Custer wins the first stage, Allgaier second, Riley Herbst third, A.J. Allmendinger fourth, and Sheldon Creed fifth. Sixth for Ryan Sieg, Jesse Love seventh, Austin Hill eighth, Brandon Jones fell all the way back to ninth, and Sam Mayer rounds out the top 10. So those will be the 10 drivers all receiving stage points in stage 1 of tonight's race, and the playoff drivers not to get stage points here. Owner standing side of things, Almirola was 12th. And then back to the drivers' standings. Chandler Smith, Sammy Smith, 15th, 16th, did not get stage points in stage 1. They're the only 2 playoff drivers not to get stage points. So that will hurt them. Seems like the round of 8, we have a lot closer battles getting into the championship 4 on a year-over-year basis than what we see in any other round. So not getting any points in the first stage of the round of 8 is definitely not great. especially for Brandon Jones, who started up in third. Starting that high up in the running order, you would just kind of automatically think that he's going to lead himself to getting some sort of stage points at stage 1, but not the case here today. Delbert Wilson, thanks for tuning into the stream as well. He's predicting 6 more yellows. This is our third caution of the day with the stage yellow. First caution was technically for debris, lap 4 in the back straightaway. Lap 34, the incident with the 15 of Dylan Lupton. Free pass, by the way, went to Akinori Ogata in the 35 with that Lupton incident. And our third caution of the day right here at the end of lap 45, obviously, with the stage end. Everybody who did not pit before the end of stage 1 will be pitting now. Good strategy call to pit because that ended up winning the stage. But for some of them mired back in traffic, they were not able to get stage points. It was good if you were at the front of the field and were able to cycle up pit road in those front couple positions. Bad if you were back in traffic on the restart. You know, like a Mayer only gets the 1 point. Chandler Smith, Sammy Smith, who don't get any. But they'll now get to cycle ahead of everybody in front of them that still has to pit. So they should be back in the top 10 for the restart again. Once they come back from this commercial break, you guys will definitely get to listen into the pit reports. Not there yet. On the CW, on my end at least. Having a big lag.
Tires and fuel for him, Kim.
Off your screen, the 16 of AJ Allmendinger. He saw the chassis adjustment. He said, nope, you're good at all. He said, fired off okay, but gets worse after 12 laps. But it's a wobble more than a loose feeling, Marty. They took tires as well as fuel.
Third for Las Vegas native Riley Herbst in stage 1. He said, I feel like we worked the right front way too hard at the beginning of the run. And then he said, at the end of the run, I just need more overall grip. 4 tires for the 98.
And the race off Progressive Pit Road has Herbst winning that battle. And again, there were quite a few that stayed out that had pitted on lap 36. So we will shake the order up once again. And the playoffs, round of 8 are well underway. Stage 1 complete with Las Vegas. Cole Custer wins.
Kind of missed some of the beginning portion of the pit stop there. I was trying to log back into the CW, and it was buffering on me quite a bit because I felt like we were falling a little bit behind the live broadcast. So, in the process of trying to catch that up, it was lagging a little more on my end, and I wasn't able to get in. But Cole Custer will be the leader on the restart. Obviously, he'll stay out now with pitting before the end of the stage. We restarted with 7 laps to go in stage 1 initially, so about 7 lap older tires for those at the very front of the field. I think the 15 car is going to get another top 15 before the end of the year. I don't think so. I mean, with the racetracks we have left on the schedule, I'd be shocked if it happens, to be completely honest. Though I don't know who's going to be in that car to the end of the year either. I mean, they could get some higher profile drivers to drive that car before the season's out. Maybe there would be a chance of it, I guess. Like if Josh Berry runs it at Martinsville. You know, that I guess that technically could happen, but I don't know the driver lineup for the 15 the rest of the year. Definitely don't think Logano's going to be back in that car again this season, considering that he's still in the playoffs, the Cup Series side of things. So they're going to continue to stay focused there to try to get themselves their 3rd career title. That 22 team. Ethan Chewett, thanks for tuning in. We'll take our first ad break of this Xfinity Series race stream. You're listening live on KRC, the Ambetter Health 302. Under the lights at Las Vegas. $40 votes currently posted in the chat poll. 43% of you, of those 40 votes, are taking Justin Allgaier for the win. 28% taking somebody other than Allgaier, Almirola, or Custer. Custer, who is the Stage 1 winner, getting 20% of the votes, and 10% for Eric Almirola, who we haven't seen anywhere near the very front of the field yet here today, which I'm kind of surprised. Top 5 in practice, but haven't seen him up in the top 5 at all in the race so far. But again, still in those daylight conditions. See at the end when the nighttime is the right time if that 20 team could turn it on. So we'll see if the 7-lap pressure tire is going to make a huge difference here. I'd probably say there's more tire fall off with the Xfinity cars than what we see in the other series, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, you got probably the faster cars at the very front of the field as it is. So I think this will be really telling on how much of a difference that's going to make with some of the slower cars having the fresher tires behind them. But again, it is only 7 laps worth. Field has already gotten that 1 to go signal. They'll be going green this time by. Why does Ryan Ellis kind of look like an older version of Kyle Larson? The profile pic down at the bottom of the screen on the CW, he kind of looks like Larson a little bit. I never noticed that. I don't think I really knew what Ryan Ellis looked like until just now. It's Kyle Larson with the Alex Bowman haircut is what it is. It's like if Kyle Larson had Alex Bowman's hair. But, or hairstyle, I should say. With the hard part. Green flag is back in the air. Cole Custer outside row 1 for the restart. Allgaier inside. 3 wide already behind him. A lot of drivers going down to those apron shots on the front stretch as they get up to speed. No different here. Austin Hill, one of the more aggressive drivers in the Xfinity Series, was the first driver to pull to the bottom. Couldn't make the passes going off into turns 1 and 2 for any positions, though. Kyle Segan, that 28 car, making moves. He is going to get to 4th as he motors around Jesse Love. And now is going for 3rd after Sheldon Creed. Creed with a block to hold on to 3rd. Front of the field, Allgaier takes his first lead of the race as he got in front of Custer on the restart. Second restart in a row that the control car is taking the outside lane and failed to lead the first green flag lap following that said restart. Allgaier now our 4th different leader of the race. 5th, actually, with Herbst leading on that last restart. So 5 different drivers have led here in the first 53 completed laps. Allmendinger continues to look very loose on the inside lane. Jesse Love holding him tightly as he tries to hold on for 6th. Mayer passed both cars initially there a couple laps ago as well. After the 28 of Ryan Sieg was able to. With Allgaier leading right now, the current points as we run has Cole Custer plus 26, plus 3 for Austin Hill, and only plus 1 for Chandler Smith, who had no stage points in stage 1. Sam Mayer minus 1 point, Jesse Love minus 6, AJ Allmendinger minus 7, and Sammy Smith minus 28. Again, that's as of stage 2, first round. A lot is going to change between now and the end of that Martinsville race in a couple weeks. The restart of stage 2, where all the playoff drivers are running right now, you got Justin Allgaier leading, Cole Custer in 2nd, Sam Mayer in 5th, AJ Allmendinger 6th, Chandler Smith in 7th, Jesse Love in 9th, Austin Hill obviously in 8th as well, just missed him, Sammy Smith in 13th. Might have lost quite a few spots off the restart as well. That's as far back as he's been in the running order all night. 35 laps to go still in stage 2. We had 2 cautions in the middle of stage 1. 3 total in the race, obviously, with the stage end. Chandler Smith thought about going 3 wide middle into turn 3 on Allmendinger and Sam Mayer, but the hole closed up just before he got there. Had to lift on corner entry, lost time to the 2 cars in front of him. And Austin Hill with a big run now behind him on corner exit. Gets by Jesse Love for a spot. Pass was made for 8th, and here he comes for 7th on Chandler Smith. Smith's had some good runs at Vegas, leading a bunch of laps in the spring race this season. And he also led a bunch of laps last season when running for Colleague Racing in the spring event before getting passed in the closing laps by then winner Austin Hill. Ended up finishing 3rd that day. But haven't seen that same speed out of Chandler Smith so far here tonight. He started up in the top 5, but no stage points in stage 1, and he's still running back half of the top 10, losing a couple spots on this restart as well. There was about a dozen cars that had to pit at the end of this stage because they had stayed out during the caution late in stage 1 before that 7 lap to go restart in stage 1. So a large majority of the cars did stay out of the pits here to get the track position back, or keep it in some cases for like an Allgaier or Custer who were already ahead of everybody that had stayed out anyway. Herbst, who was 3rd in the stage, that's why he's back in 10th. Showed a replay for Eric Almirola. So he is seemingly at the back right now because of a pit penalty, it looks like. So maybe an interference penalty with where the 9 of Brandon Jones was in his pit box and his crew members going to work on the car. So that is why Almirola taking up way too much of the pit box for the 9. That is why he had to restart the back of the field here. So I was thinking he might have lost some spots on the restart. He actually restarted further back, and he's so far driven up to 19th. So that makes more sense. I was kind of wondering how he got back in the field. I didn't think he had a bad pit stop, but that was why. So the penalty for that, restarting at the tail end of the longest line. Taylor Gray, Austin Hill battle for 12th. Gray takes the position for now. 27 car of Jeb Burton now going to look for the spot on the 21 of Hill. Austin in danger of losing yet another position. Brandon Jones has had some pretty good long run speed in his 9 car today. Maybe lacking a bit on the short runs. Definitely has not restarted well at all. Outside of that very initial start of the race, which is where he led his only laps. But he is starting to motor past some cars in the top 10. And this could be one of the better runs for Brandon Jones in his JRM tenure. With these 2 seasons here, he has yet to win a race with them. Didn't qualify for the playoffs not only this year, but last year as well. Just an abysmal season for that team. A lot of crashes, failing to make it to the end of races. And a lot of these Xfinity Series events, which has definitely plagued the reasoning for why he didn't make the playoffs to begin with this year. 9 DNFs for Brandon Jones so far this season. That's a lot. 9 of them in, 29 races? That's bad. I mean, that's over a quarter of the schedule. There's only 33 races in the Xfinity Series compared to the 36 on the Cup side. They have a few extra off weeks. And we still got 4 races left. But yeah, that's almost a third of the season. Ending it in the garage and not on the track. Jones looking for another spot on the outside of Sheldon Creed from the exit of turn 4. By the way, that was the 4th stage win of the year for Cole Custer after winning stage 1 as well, for anybody wondering how many stage wins that gives him now this season. Puts him in a tie for 4th for the most stage wins on the Xfinity Series here this season. A big 10 points for him. One driver will make it to the championship 4 on points at the very least. Maybe more, depending on who all wins in the round of 8. If we get any non-playoff drivers to win or repeat winners of those in this final 8, will determine how many will actually make it on points at the end of the Martinsville penultimate race this season. Taylor Gray, Sammy Smith battling. Gray's definitely struggled on the long run so far today. Same for Sammy. Smith extends his lead during the commercial break, currently at 3.1 seconds. Again, your top 5 right now. Justin Allgaier in the lead. Cole Custer in 2nd. 3rd place for Ryan Sieg. AJ Allmendinger in 4th. And Chandler Smith is 5th. That is our top 5. Lap 67 of 201, about a third of the way home here tonight at Vegas. You're listening live on KRC. Will there be a live stream of Talladega Nights? No, I don't plan on it. With the Ricky Bobby? With Will Ferrell in character? Probably not. Yeah, Allgaier consistently about a tenth or two quicker lap than Custer. It looked like that back in the first stage. He just ran out of time trying to get through there. Allgaier did not qualify quite as well as Custer did. Some of those other drivers had started at the front of the field. And he actually restarted in 16th after the very first yellow of the day. He lost spots on the initial start.
BWE NXT is bringing the speed with some special guests. Yes, that's right. Our very own NASCAR Xfinity Series champion Cole Custer is going to join the action. You don't want to miss it. WWE NXT Tuesday at 8/7 Central, right here on the CW. He put
Stone Cold Custer.
Stone Cold moves, and he has been very quick today. The Xfinity fastest lap turned by Cole Custer on lap 2. Averaging around this mile and a half, over 178 miles an hour. You're just a couple miles an hour slower than that on the way out here, Steve.
Well, Rick, I didn't want to miss the meeting.
No. It's one car. Sam Mary's not had a good day. He just hasn't had the pace. Last few laps, several guys have gotten by him.
It's been messy too, right? Like not just the pace, but he's kind of got caught up in some weird traffic situation.
Yeah.
Working lap 19. Taylor Gray. Gray running 12th right now. It was announced he'll be running full time for JGR in 2024 for the Xfinity Series.
You see Gray, how much quicker he is on corner exit and Fair. They're doing a nice job, kind of taking his line away from him right there, running on the very bottom of the racetrack.
We talked so much about bumps. That was a good example there. It looked like Taylor Gray went through the bumps and it shot his race car up the racetrack. Creed's decided the wall is where he wants to be. Through 3 and 4 all the way up the racetrack. Sammy Smith in the 8s. He's hugging the white line down there from 1 and 2. Sammy running in the 9th position. So right now, playoff drivers inside the top 10 are Allgaier, Allmendinger, Custer, Chandler Smith, Love, and Sammy Smith, as well as Sam Mayer has moved up into that 10th spot.
How about the 20 car down the roll after that penalty?
11th fighting for 10. Jim, what about Allmendinger?
Yeah, currently up to the second position after restarting 11th. And when he took the green flag on this run, his spotter told my press, he said, "You are the first driver on the newest tires. You're set up for the long run. You can pass all of these guys." He has been methodically picking them off. And this team told me they were a little disheartened after their Kansas show not showing up. And so they got to Vegas. When they realized it was going to be cooler temperatures, they went to the drawing board and said, we can just kind of tweak on what we had in Vegas in the spring versus what we used in Kansas a couple of weeks ago. Right now, AJ Allmendinger, no complaints so far this run, Dylan.
Sheldon Creed was up inside the top 5 at one point after starting at the back. They lost an engine yesterday in practice and then pitted at the lap 36 yellow to took tires, and they got the track position that they were so desperately needing. Problem is now those tires are starting to give up on the 18 car, and they have fallen out of the top 10 and run 13th right now. They also had some trash on the grill that Sheldon had to work to get off. They got that taken care of, just trying to get to the end of the stage now, Marty.
Hillen, from all the confidence Austin Hill and his team had coming into Las Vegas, it has not shown up during the race. In fact, since the restart just a moment ago, he has lost 11 positions. He just radioed to Andy Street just a moment ago. He said it is extremely loose on entry, and it will not turn for anything in the middle of the corner as well. He said, in fact, he thinks they went the wrong way on the last adjustment they made. He said the last stop messed up the entry pretty bad. So, Jeff, when you're free on entry at Las Vegas, how much is that a compounding factor to lose time for the rest of the lap?
Free on entry on mile and a half is very difficult to deal with. The only thing you can do is you can change your angles of approach, but you have to slow the car down. You just cannot attack. And when you cannot drive in the corner with good pace, well, that messes up the rest of the corner because now the car is not compressed into the racetrack. It's not traveled, and the car doesn't drive well anywhere.
So Hill fighting that as he tries to figure out how to break inside the top 15.
Timed that out pretty well. I had to go refill my water. Get a drink. That's why I had the camera off there for a couple minutes. Got back right as it's almost like I meant to time that. I could have been a little quicker getting my water. I wasn't running to it. And my sister's dog always wants an ice cube too, so had to let her run around the corner and get an ice cube. Of course, she missed her window of opportunity there. John Barber, thanks for tuning into the stream. See you in the chat. Justin Allgaier's lead still just over 3 seconds ahead of now AJ Allmendinger, who is in second. Cole Custer's dropped from second back to fifth in the running order. Now make that 6 as Chandler Smith going to get around him as well. So with about 10 laps to go in stage 2, here's your full field running order rundown. Justin Allgaier in the race lead. AJ Allmendinger in second. Ryan Sieg in third. Brandon Jones in fourth. Chandler Smith fifth. Cole Custer sixth. Jesse Love seventh. Riley Hurston eighth. Eric Almirola ninth. Sammy Smith rounds out the top 10. Sam Mayer in 11th. Taylor Gray 12th. Parker Kligerman 13th. Sheldon Creed 14th. And Jeb Burton 15th. 16th, Austin Hill. Daniel Dye 17th. Parker Retzlaff 18th. 19th for Corey Heim. And Anthony Alfredo is in 20th. Kyle Sieg 21st. Matt DiBenedetto 22nd. Josh Williams 23rd. Kyle Weatherman 24th. Brendan Poole 25th. Jeremy Clements 26th. J.J. Yaley 27th. Garrett Smithley 28th. Mike Snyder last car in the lead lap at 29th. Ryan Ellis in 30th. Ryan Vargas 31st. Blaine Perkins 32nd. Dylan Lupton 33rd. 34th. Joey Gase. Akadori Ogata 35th. Also a lap down. 6 laps down. Dawson Cram 36th. Leland Honeyman still on track, but 7 laps down in 37th. Shane Van Gisbergen with the engine failure out of the race will finish last in 38th tonight. Sorry for any Aussies out there maybe watching the stream here today. New Zealanders. Fortunate engine issue there. Back-to-back rough weeks for SVG. In the sense of getting eliminated from the playoffs a week ago despite a top 3 run, finishing 3rd at the Roval. It was in a must-win situation when it came down to the end of that race. And now the engine failure just in the first stage of this one only completed 35 laps. Honeyman with the damage again is 7 laps down from an earlier incident. Dawson Cram had a transmission issue, missed the initial start of the race. That early caution we had at lap 4, he was able to get back on the track before that said restart. And it's a good thing they got him out onto the racetrack with the transmission issue that they had because he was able to gain 2 more positions in the running order.
Saturday action. First, it's ACC football as North Carolina will head to Charlottesville, take on Virginia. Then it's off to Homestead, Miami. This NASCAR Xfinity Series playoff takes one step closer to crowning a champion. CW Sports Saturday. That's next week starting at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, only on the CW.
It's a great day, an Xfinity race, and a Carolina loss.
Wow.
Wow.
That's an early call. I believe that's an early call.
Well, I'm pretty excited for UNLV Oregon State here tonight. UNLV 5-1. We're here in Vegas.
Yep.
Might have to show some support for the UNLV team.
Marty, what's going on with the 7? Are they having vibrations again?
Yeah, Rick, I can't believe Burton went there with the Carolina loss.
Yeah.
Just right off the graphic. It was pretty incredible. Said, hey, it's been an eventful stage 2 for just real on the grill earlier. Temps got up around 250. They got that debris off. Tim's back down to normal now. But yeah, Rick, you mentioned the vibration. It is cropped up once again. About 4 laps ago, Justin Allgaier said vibration is back. He feels like it's on the left side. So, Steve, now this is the second set of tires. Justin Allgaier said 35 laps in, I have a vibration. If you're Jim Coleman, you getting a little bit worried about that?
Well, you definitely don't feel great about it. I mean, it's the playoffs. Everything is more nerve-wracking. But, without any, visual damage to the tire, I think they should be okay. You maybe would adjust maybe your green flag pit stop at the next stage by 4 or 5 laps to be a little safer. But, at this point, not a whole lot you could do.
We saw the number of laps led as far as Allgaier in the all-time world. He's 4th right now, all-time for laps led in the Xfinity Series. He's currently 10th for all-time wins at 25. He's led 35 laps already with 4 to go here in stage 2. Eric Almirola in the 20, rolling along as Almirola has made his way up to 7.
From 35th.
Yes.
So if you're Paz, it's eventually you're going to have to deal with him. He has great pace. They would have passed a lot of cars. Fastest car on the racetrack that lap.
20 car with John Hunter Nemechek behind the wheel, won here in the spring. And again, it's been a wide variety of drivers, 5 different drivers behind the wheel. The 24 of them have won twice, including Eric Almirola. Now under 2 laps to go in stage 2, as we see the 48 of Parker Kligerman. He's making up some ground. Kligerman up to 12th now. He'll go by the 8 of Sammy Smith. But while he does that, Taylor Gray goes by him on the outside.
Yeah, right front skirt on the 8 car looks like it's broken, flapping a little bit. Not a huge detail, but the field is so close in speed that, all those little things add up.
Say, Almirola. Allgaier with this lead. He's had a little bit of trouble in by this lap traffic. Allmendinger's running him down. I don't think Allmendinger has enough time, but he's closed the gap.
Under a second. It was over 3 seconds.
Oh, 3 wide right in front of the 7.
Skirt. Looks like, is it just the wrap that's flapping there?
I can't tell. The skirt itself's not very thick. This is the traffic you talked about right here. It's only about 1/8 of an inch thick on that plastic. So we'll have to just see what the 8 does. It's going to be closer right here to the line.
Out of turn 4. 16 made it pretty close. Wasn't able to get there. But it's Allgaier winning stage 2. There's 10 more points. Allmendinger grabs 9. Ryan Siegel get 8. That's Allgaier's 16th stage win in 2024. Second most all time in a season. So now it was Custer, then Allgaier went into stages.
Crazy that he's got 16 stage wins this year. We still have 3 more races left after this. He could get to 20 before the end of the season. Great job for Allgaier after finishing 2nd at stage 1, 1st in stage 2 1 seed. So he's putting himself in a great spot. Obviously, if he wins, all those points don't even matter. He'll end up advancing to the championship 4 off of that. But we'll see if he can do it. And if not, he'll have a good spot in the point standings, at least at race end, if he could just make it to the finish. AJ Allmendinger is sitting right now in the 2nd place position. Behind him at the end of stage 2, Ryan Sieg 3rd, Brandon Jones 4th, Chandler Smith 5th, Cole Custer in 6th, Eric Almirola 7th, Jesse Love 8th, Riley Herbst 9th, Taylor Gray rounds out the top 10. So those are all the drivers to get stage points in stage 2. Because we're at the end of stage 2, we'll have our stage 2 diecast showing. Jimmy Johnson is running the NASCAR Cup Series race tomorrow, so I want to show off a Jimmy Johnson diecast on the channel here tonight. And this is his Lowe's car from 2005. So again, 2005 Lowe's 48 Monte Carlo from the Gen 4 years, the early years of Johnson, before he was not even just a 7-time champ, but a 1-time champ. He hadn't even won a Cup title yet. But yeah, definitely one of the original Lowe's paint schemes. Had to get a classic Lowe's paint scheme of Jimmy Johnson at some point. I mean, he literally is the greatest driver of my generation in NASCAR, so for that reason, had to get it. I wasn't around much for Gordon in the 90s, so Johnson undoubtedly the best NASCAR driver of my generation. Gordon only won one championship in my lifetime, so I have to say that's definitely Jimmy there. I wonder wins-wise how competitive it'd be between Tony Stewart and Jeff Gordon in my lifetime as who would have more wins, because you pretty much have the entire career of Tony Stewart from 99 through when he retired and everything, prior to the second half of the 99 season for Gordon. His first couple Daytona 500 wins wouldn't even be included for me. Google sometime. Not right now, though. We're in the middle of a race. Free pass, I believe, goes to J.J. Yaley. No, Jeremy Clements. 51 card Jeremy Clements will get the free pass in 28th at the stage end. No cautions for incident through stage 2, by the way. Squeaky toy was added entertainment. I mean, if you say so, I felt like it was probably annoying as the viewer. It was definitely annoying for me on my behalf, trying to run a professional stream and got a dog chewing on a squeaky toy in the background.
Taylor Smith, top of the screen, said we were a little bit better on that run, got closer to where we needed to end, but still wants a little bit more front turn. They're going to go half of the adjustment they made last time, 4 tires and fuel. Kim?
Great stage for AJ Allmendinger, finishing second. You see him there in the middle, 16 car. He said losing turn, too tight center up, especially on throttle. He's going to ask for it to be treed up in the back, 4 fresh Goodyear tires, no go fuel, Marty.
Stage win for Justin Allgaier. He's going to lose some spots here on pit road. He said, I'm finding a little bit of everything, so I'm not sure what to tell you to do. So Jim Pullman said, we'll just adjust for the track, and we'll watch you go to work. They only lose 1 spot here on pit road, Rick.
Yeah, that Rick.
Allmendinger wins the race off of pit road, plus 3 positions for Cole Custer. I think I saw Riley Herbst up 4 spots as well now, back into the top 5. So we'll see how this is going to go. AJ will be the leader on the restart, and I believe he's the 6th different driver to lead a lap in the race today now, as he will be leading on the restart. Yep, 6 different driver to lead. Only 2 drivers to lead more than once, Brandon Jones and Justin Allgaier. Brandon Jones and Cole Custer. Custer has led twice, only once for Allgaier, which was the last 42 laps of stage 1. Led every green flag lap of the stage. Most laps led so far is Allgaier, and again, that second stage win here tonight gives him 16 on the season. I should say 17. No, I had it right, 16. 16 on the season. He had 15 coming into the night. 4th stage win of the year for Cole Custer after he won stage 1. Custer's led for 31 laps, as I mentioned, 2 different times. 12 laps led 2 different times apiece for Brandon Jones. Sammy Smith led for 5 laps. Riley Herbst led for 4 laps. And now AJ Allmendinger will restart in the lead. Coming up here pretty soon. 8 lead changes. Our average race speed, 123.64 miles per hour, with this being our 4th caution of the day. 2 for incident, 2 for non-incidents. Little over an hour and 8 minutes total time from the initial drop of the green flag to where we're at right now. And again, this final stage, 111 laps. They will have to pit at least 1 more time in the race. 1 for fuel. Each of these teams still have 2 sets of tires left the rest of the way, depending on how cautions may or may not fall in stage 3. Kind of a mixed bag with these intermediate tracks on the Xfinity Series side of things. Sometimes we get, races where we don't get any cautions in the final stage, and sometimes we get a plethora of them. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes about. A lot of aggressive restarts, a lot of 4-wide racing on restarts so far today, so it could happen. Before we get into this final restart, or final stage, I should say, we also have to end the chat poll. 44 votes were casted. 41% of those 44 votes taking Justin Allgaier for the win. 27% taking somebody other than Allgaier, Custer, or Almirola for the win. Custer making up 18% and Almirola making up 13% of the votes. Ryan Sieg's had a very quiet but solid day today. He had really good runs on the intermediate tracks very early in the year. And then that momentum really stalled out through the summer months, and that's what kept him from pointing his way into the playoffs. He was above the cutoff line for quite some time. That lull stretch just going into and coming out of that Olympic break we had in the middle to end of the summer months, and wasn't able to obviously break through and get that first win. Came so close a couple times earlier in the year by a nose, finished second at Texas. Was leading laps late in that race. Thought that he was going to pull off the upset. Fortunately, not the case. Sam Mayer had other ideas. Eventually went on to win. Every time they show that profile pic for Ryan Ellis, you'll have to let me know in the chat for those of you watching the race on the CW. Does Ryan Ellis look like Kyle Larson? Like, they look identical to one another. I need to pull up a profile pic of both drivers and show you before the end of the stream, because they look identical. Ellis looks like a slightly older version. Oh, man, somebody stalled out. Middle groove in the restart. Taylor Gray going to go around in front of the field. Almost pinches the 21 into the wall. Cautions out immediately. What happened there? Damage all over the back of the 19. I would imagine he definitely got turned. He's got damage to the front of his car as well, so he ran into the back of somebody in front of him. There was a giant accordion line. And there were definitely some ill-timed throttle ups on that restart. See if somebody maybe missed a shift. Yeah, they just mistimed it. It looked like Allmendinger was waiting until the end of the restart zone to throttle up. And all the drivers in between Allmendinger and where Gray was, who was inside of row 6. Initially, it looked like they all just kind of throttled up too soon. The 16 wasn't going yet. So too aggressive, it looked like, really. And getting back to the gas, there was a stack up right around where the 28 and the 20 were. Looked like the 28 got into the back of the 20 first, and then everybody else according behind them. But Gray was the only one that went for a spin. He spun off the front of Sammy Smith. Somehow, Austin Hill was missed by the 19. That was amazing he was able to miss that. Fifth caution of the day. Obviously, our first to stage 3 on this first restart of our final stage tonight. One of the cautions going to be a flip. Oh, man, I hope not. We don't need that. Blaine Perkins will get the free pass this time around, it appears. In 30th place to get back on the lead lap. Driver of the 29 car this evening. Allmendinger was in the lead at the time of caution as well. Continues on with Justin Allgaier in second. Chandler Smith third and Cole Custer fourth. Well, I guess that gives us time to take another break. You're listening live on KRC to the Ambetter Health 302 for the NASCAR Xfinity Series on KRC. Our goal is to get to 50 likes on this stream. And as of right now, we are still well short of that. So be sure to hit that like button if you haven't done so up to this point. Our post race shows for the Xfinity Series as well as Truck Series races a little on the shorter side of things. Got 29 likes. Again, our goal is to get to 50. And also, by the way, the points scrolling at the bottom of the screen, that was from coming into the race today. Next time they show the graphic on CW, I will try to give you guys the update on where those guys are at right now. No playoff drivers involved in any of the incidences tonight. Hill nearly collected in that one on the restart. I mean, the 8 technically was in the back of the 19. They're going to list him as involved in the incident, but I don't think he's really got any damage. So he should be able to continue on with no major problems. I don't think he hit him hard enough to put a hole in the nose of the race car to have some sort of an aerodynamic deficiency. Cars on pit road.
Motor Speedway and 2 playoff drivers on pit road after suffering damage.
All right, I guess we did have more playoff drivers involved.
And the red and white 2-car Jesse Love front nose damage from that. They do put that bare bond, that high-speed duct tape on the front end of that. Marty, his teammate Austin Hill has also had a heck of a day here at Vegas.
Yeah, good and bad news for Austin Hill. Good news, he did miss that accident, as Jeff pointed out on the replay. Barely got through the accident that happened here on the restart in the front stretch just a moment ago. But Austin Hill thought he flat spotted the tires when he got through that accident. Andy Street saying, hey, we're already the lowest running playoff driver at that point. Let's just come to pit road. Let's not take any chances. But a lot of damaged cars here on pit road after that restart accident.
This is pretty significant.
Well, yeah, that's definitely not good. There's more damage to the right front fender of the 8 car of Sammy Smith than what it appeared on the live shot. Maybe even the nose as well. Very similar damage it looked like on the front of the 2, if not more significant for Jesse Love. And Love was actually in the outside lane on the restart. He got in the back of Sheldon Creed. And a similar stack up there as well. Kind of surprised Austin Hill came in. It did not look like he had much damage. Definitely a wild restart. I mean, they've been wild all day. That one, they started crashing before they even got to the start-finish line. It looked like something out of those old single-file restarts at Daytona or Talladega. When you'd have guys further back in the field try to jump the restart to time it out, that when they get to the start-finish line, they make the dive to the bottom, and sometimes they mistime it and cause an accordion effect like that. That's kind of what that looked like. Only double file, and surprisingly, only one car went for a spin. I'm surprised there weren't more cars that piled in and had significant damage from it. 100 laps to go this time by. It'll be interesting to see if we get this next restart. Nope, not going to be this time. I'm also surprised with the damage that Sammy Smith did not come down onto pit road. Elects to stay out, and will probably still be the case to the restart because the field has gotten the 1-to-go signal. So row 1, you're going to have Justin Allgaier, AJ Allmendinger. Row 2 will be Cole Custer, Chandler Smith, Eric Almirola, Ryan Sieg. Row 3. Row 4 for Riley Herbst, Brandon Jones. Row 5, Parker Kligerman and Sheldon Creed. "99 laps left on the restart this time. Hopefully we don't have a repeat of what we just had. Jojo, thanks for tuning in. Better late than never. Yeah, I appreciate you tuning in, man. Welcome back. Northwest Arizona, also thanks for tuning in. Burr in Kingman, Arizona. Yeah, I started to just get a little bit of that fall weather around where I live in Ohio this week. We had a few days that were in the mid to low 50s for highs, like last weekend, around Sunday, Monday, Tuesday-ish. Warmed up a little bit the last couple days. I think it's supposed to be back in the 60s, 70s for most of this next week. Back to early fall weather. We had more of that mid-fall weather last week. Getting to that time of the year. Green flag back in the air. Allmendinger inside row one for the restart. That's been kind of the preferred lane, I think, at least more often than not. We see the inside. He's still looking for his first win before the season's out. Hasn't had many race-winning situations late, but maybe this could be the one. And he has won here at Vegas before with calling at the Xfinity level. So the fastest car in the field right behind him in second. Allgaier all over the back bumper of the 16 as AJ leads his first green flag lap of the day. Nighttime skies continuing to slightly roll in here at Vegas out in the desert. Allgaier loses time on that bottom group through 1 and 2. Looked like he got a bit tight running in line behind the 16. Lost time in the center of the corner. Eric Almirola, who is looking very speedy through stage 2 and is getting faster throughout the night. He is trying to battle Cole Custer on the restart for 4th. Eric on the inside, Cole on the outside. And they're still door-to-door off turn 4. Aggressive side drafting going on. Ryan Sieg in the 28 car right behind both of them. Nowhere to go for him. He's boxed in going into turn 1. Almirola through the bumps down to the white line of the racetrack. Sieg to his outside on corner exit. Big moment for Sammy Smith. Jeb Burton going to get around him on the back straightaway. Sammy Smith might have gotten a little tight there. Sammy falling back to 15th with the damage on the right front fender of his car. Again, did not come to pit road to assess the damage. As he stayed out on the racetrack, he's currently 35 points below the cut line. Minus 29 for Jesse Love, who's also involved in that accident with some sort of damage. Sam Mayer is minus 20 points on Austin Hill. First driver out, minus 17 points. Hill currently in 18th place. Chandler Smith plus 17 after no stage points in stage 1, but is running up in 3rd right now. Cole Custer plus 28 points sits in 4th. AJ Allmendinger in the playoffs leads, so as of right now he would be above the cut line. Not sure where he would be if he wasn't leading. So we'll see on that in a moment if Allgaier can take the lead away from him. Justin Allgaier currently plus 40 points after winning stage 2, second in stage 1, and currently running second in the race. Down the white line with Ryan Sieg. All over the white line with the left side tires as he pulls closer to Cole Custer, trying to battle him for 4th. Cole looked good at the beginning of the race. Still looks good now, but doesn't look like he's got the race-winning car on these later restarts as he finds himself still in the top 5. Gonna have to still try to hold on for it to the end. Although it's a shorter race at the Xfinity Series level, we still have 92 to go. Guaranteed at least one more pit stop. Maybe 2, again, depending on how cautions may fly. Each of these teams have 2 sets of tires left the rest of the way. But definitely outside the fuel window for the final time to make it to the end from where we're at right now. And will continue to be for about the next 25 to 30 plus laps. The last lap, AJ was a little quicker, with the clean air advantage. And looking at some of the fastest laps of the race that we've seen so far today, in fact, AJ Allmendinger ran his fastest lap of the race at lap 104 on this last restart. And that is the fastest lap anybody has turned around this racetrack today. So there's a reason AJ has found himself out in front right now. That fast pit stop won him the race off pit road. He's gotten that track position with the lead for the first time. And he's running great lap times to try and hold it. Be interesting if the 7 gets around him, if he's able to still put down that good of a lap. Again, a 30.063 was that fast lap of the day for Allmendinger. And that was an average lap speed of 179.623 miles per hour. Josh Williams now getting by Sammy Smith in traffic. Playoff driver Austin Hill hot on his heels. Matt DiBenedetto, the 8, continues to lose time. See, at least with the bare bond, it kind of patches the holes up in the fender or the nose of the race car when they do. It might have looked like he had a little bit more damage than that of Sammy Smith. They were able to plug the holes up with the bare bond. The 8 car choosing to stay out on the racetrack. has lost so many positions. He's back to 22nd. Love has rebounded and is up to 16th as of right now. And those two were pretty much running around one another for most of the race today. Love maybe in the back half of the top 10 more often than Sammy Smith outside of the early laps at stage 1. Where Sammy was actually out and leading off the very beginning of the race today. But nowhere near that right now. Justin Allgaier about 4 to 5 car lengths off the lead. A little bit of trash on the grill of the 7 as well. Last lap, he was only 2/1000ths of a second slower than that of the 16 car ahead of him. Definitely going to have to keep an eye on the temperature gauges inside the race car to make sure that that engine isn't going to be overheating. Got to keep that water pressure down. 7 is digging. He's trying to get to the back bumper of the 16 so he can get close enough to get the airflow and the turbulence to push that debris off the grill of his car. Otherwise, he's got to fall back behind another car to get it off before the engine expires. If the temps, again, are overheating. It's not a big piece of trash, but it doesn't take much. And he's got a little over a second to the third place car of Chandler Smith behind him, so he definitely doesn't want to have to lose that much track position to get the debris off the nose. And not to mention, Chandler Smith's got Ryan Sieg right all over his back bumper, so losing one spot could turn to 2 very easily, on top of being about a second and a half or more off the lead. 2 fastest cars on the racetrack are the first 2, pulling away from everybody else. AJ again quicker by about 1/10 of a second than Allgaier, that last lap. Lap 116.
So close to adding his name to the win list. Texas earlier this year, he was 2/1000ths of a second away from his win at that mile and a half. Marty, what about Allgaier running second?
Well, Rick Jeff brought up a terrific point a moment ago. Really, it's based on the pace that A.J. Allmendinger is laying down. Justin Allgaier came on the radio a moment ago. He said, I'm worried if I am aggressive with my pace like he is, that I will hurt the right front tire. Also, a little bit of debris on the grill for the 7 car. And that's because on the last stop, they pulled off the tires, and we talked about the vibration for Justin Allgaier. Well, this time, the blisters were on the right front tire for Justin Allgaier. And he knows how bad those blisters were. Look at those blisters on that right front tire that came off last time. So, Jeff, as a driver behind the wheel, how cognizant are you of saying, hey, I know I blistered sets of tires on the last 2 sets, the only sets we've run all day long, so I want to take it a little bit easy early in the run so I don't have that happen again here in stage 3.
Well, really what I'm doing is I'm asking crew chief, hey, Steve, how many laps are we going to run this set? How many do we have on the next set? Do I need to worry about it? Is it something? And I've got to trust my crew chief to give me that information.
And luckily, only 17 green flag laps on this set. Looking at the math, little concerned about the pace, but I do think, you're not going to have to run many more laps in that set. You see right here, the 7 of Allgaier trying to work the lap traffic to try to get the debris off the grill.
He's used Leland Honeyman a couple times in this race to try to do that. Is the gap closing? Maybe just a little bit, under half a second between the 16 and the 7. Pretty consistent.
It actually made it worse, as crazy as that sounds. When he pulled up behind the car to try to get that debris off, it kind of flipped over and it's actually covered up more space. Now, Steve, as the temperature,
I was going to say,
if the temperature's coming down, this might be what you want.
I'm thinking I probably had in my notes coming to this race. Let's talk about adding a piece of tape at the end of stage 2, maybe adding another piece on the green flag pit stop, because as the track does cool, the sun goes down, we want to be as efficient as possible. Maybe this little piece of trash doesn't work for me.
You talk about temperatures here in Las Vegas. A little bit cooler than what we would normally expect. 71 degrees outside right now. Marty, what's happening with Allgaier?
Well, I saw Jim Pullman jump down off his pit stand, and he ran over to talk to Alex Jones, the crew chief for A.J. Allmendinger. So, Steve, sometimes the communication happens here on pit road between crew chiefs. They asked A.J. Allmendinger to back up to the 7, help him get the debris off the grill, and he told him, Jim Pullman, Do not pass the 16. He's going to back up to you, let you get the debris off, but do not pass him. So, you ever brokered a deal like that on pit road, Steve?
He's lucky I'm not Alex Younts. Because I would have said, man, your boss is over there. We're in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Get the trash off, great. But if you want me to back up to you, no chance. There's just no way I would help another playoff driver at this point in the season. You hate to be that way, but it's big time motorsports. I have to take advantage of everything I can, even the bad luck of the competitors. Let's listen into the 16.
I mean,
Yeah, that sounds
just
ridiculous.
like the defense saying, "Hey, could you tell us what the play is that you guys are getting ready to run?"
I don't like the move. I just don't like it. I mean, I hate it for the 7. And maybe you try to, ask the help will come back your way, but man, it's just too tough. These races are too tough.
He did offer a trade-off. If you help us, in return, we won't pass you. That was the peace offering, but I'm with you, Steve.
Man, is that like all day?
To say, yeah, stuff there.
And look, I don't trust them. Like, I don't trust anybody. I've done this long enough to know they can lie to me. And he's caught. Here he is caught the 16. Let's see if it pulls that debris off.
And let's see if he stays behind him. Well, I think that's probably Allmendinger figuring that he doesn't want him to get too close.
But he messed around too much. Chandler Smith is going to be there.
Yeah.
And he doesn't care what kind of deal they brokered.
And behind him, Ryan Sieg. Ryan's had a lot of pace today.
Listen, all guys just sit on the road. Then we see it. But Jack
Abort, abort.
Kind of backing off the bumper of the 16.
Abort.
So they were worried about the debris on the front of the
Just another Rick just said the alternator just died on the 7 car. It's down to, I think he said 15, Steve. So now there's an electrical issue on the 7.
Yeah, some of that can be with some overheating at times. The alternator can become less efficient. You heard the radio turn everything off. This is welcome to the 7 of the playoffs. It's been anything but smooth. This race, with a great race car running second, still a lot of issues.
So Allgaier running second, 0.8 of a second behind Allmendinger. And now they're coming up on some traffic, so Allgaier may try to use that to get rid of the debris.
This is a great opportunity for him. He should be able to roll right up behind this car. Watch this. It's gone.
It's gone. So the debris goes away, and that's thanks to Akinori Agata behind the wheel of the 35. Allgaier running second. We'll see if he still has problems, the electrical issues when we come back.
73 laps to go. We'll go through the full field running order rundown here. AJ Allmendinger has a 1-second lead over Justin Allgaier in second. Chandler Smith is third. Ryan Sieg fourth. And Eric Alvarola rounds out the top 5 in fifth. Cole Custer in sixth. Riley Herbst 7th. Parker Kligerman in 8th. Brandon Jones 9th. And Sam Mayer is 10th. 11th is Sheldon Creed. Jesse Love in 12th. 13th for Daniel Dye. Jeb Burton 14th. Anthony Alfredo 15th. Austin Hill 16th, Parker Retzlaff 17th, Kyle Sieg 18th, 19th, Josh Williams, Matt DiBenedetto in 20th, Brennan Poole 21st, Corey Heim 22nd, Jeremy Clements 23rd, Sammy Smith 24th, Taylor Gray 25th. Make that now Myatt Snyder 25th, Taylor Gray 26th, Garrett Smithley 27th, Kyle Weatherman 28th, last car in the lead lap, Blaine Perkins in 29th, 1 lap down, Ryan Vargas 30th, the lap down, J.J. Yaley also lap down 31st. Dylan Lupton 32nd. Ryan Ellis 33rd. 34th, Joey Gase. Akinori Agata 35th. Dawson Cramp 36th. Leland Honeyman 37th. And the only car out of the race is Shane Van Gisbergen finishing last in 38th. Had an engine issue back in stage 1. AJ Allmendinger, 38 laps led. Allgaier's led the most still with 42, but AJ quickly catching him in the laps led category. Cole Custer, who won stage 1, led for 31 laps. Allgaier again won stage 2. Riley Herbst led for 4 laps earlier in the race, 5 for Sammy Smith, and 12 for the pole sitter, Brandon Jones. 5 cautions, 3 per incident, 1 on the initial restart to begin stage 3. Our 2 stage yellows lap 45, lap 90. Lap 96 was the time of the caution on that last restart, second to last restart now. Lap 34 incident with the 15 of Dylan Lupton, and the lap 4 incident back straightaway between Honeyman and Yaley, which caused for a debris yellow at that time. So those are the 5 cautions so far. Our average race speed, 122.51 miles per hour. A little over an hour and a half from the drop of the green flag initially at the start of the race to where we are currently. And again, 69 laps to go here for the NASCAR Xfinity Series at Las Vegas. We'll take an ad break. Continue our live commentary coverage of the Ambetter Health 302 at Las Vegas. We're going to be going to 68 laps to go now at the line, this time by NASCAR nonstop commercial break currently taking place on the CW.
Make sure to shift into high gear with your chance to win an all-access Daytona 500 experience. All you have to do is scan that QR code, or you can visit NASCAR.com/racking up the wins now to enter. We look back on Parker Kligerman there at 48. Out in front, A.J. Allmendinger. Jeff, you mentioned earlier he had won at this racetrack back in 21, but has not won this year. And so that would add another name to the list of those who've been to victory lane if he's able to hold on. He's got a long way to go, 68 to go. Steve, about 8 laps away from the fuel window opening.
Yeah, about 8 laps, and you could pit and then make it to the finish. I think they may run a little longer, try to split these tires up kind of equally. 33 laps on these, so somewhere probably 55 to go, 57 to go. We might see some cars on pit road. That would seem to be a little more conservative in the Xfinity races versus Cup.
Yeah.
AJ Allmendinger currently P1, and you guys talked about this team still looking for their first win of 2024, and that's had effect not just on AJ the driver, but Alex Johnson, crew chief, said the entire team has been a little bit down because they haven't missed the victory lane. They thought they might have 4 or 5 wins by this point in the season, but they take solace in the fact that they know they are good at this track when it is cooler. You told me that the spring race, they are typically better. Now that the temps are down this weekend, they feel like they could have a race-winning car. P1 right now, Dylan, on the racer.
Parker Kligerman not in the playoffs after a tough road result last weekend, but still plenty to fight for in his final full-time season of competition. He has really liked his race car all weekend long and said that we've got to be good on the bottom groove, especially at night. I didn't even run the top in practice because I know we've got to be good around the bottom groove, and they are. He is charged through the field here in this final stage, currently runs 6th, and just came on the radio and said, I feel like we've kept up with the racetrack really, really well. 48 car is strong.
It was a sentimental finish to last week's race for Parker Kligerman. He thought he was in position to get the white flag to win that race. It was a situation where we talked to NASCAR and said, why was there such a delay? And they honestly said that they had not seen the car get underneath those tires. It was out of their view. And so that's why it took so long for them to throw that caution. But it was about a fraction of a second before he crossed the start-finish line to receive the white flag that the caution came out. And that means that they had to have a restart, and Parker Kligerman ended up getting past.
This battle right here, Ryan Sieg is faster than Chandler Smith, but Chandler Smith, until right there, has been covering the white line and just not giving Sieg a place to go. Chandler just barely missed it, and Ryan's taking advantage of it.
Impressive run for Ryan Sieg up to the 3rd spot now. They're still about 4 seconds back from Allmendinger.
I've been impressed with this 28, though. Had a little bit slower pit stop last time, lost some track position. They stayed calm, and here he is back inside the top 3.
And again, the reason Ryan Sieg behind the wheel of the 28, normally we would see him behind the wheel of the 39, but because that is a team car, they want to make sure they get the most points possible for all of their cars. And so Ryan being the best of the drivers in that group, they decided to put him behind the wheel of the 28 this week. The other driver having a pretty good day today is Daniel Dye behind the wheel of the 10 for Colleague Racing.
20-year-old from Florida is having a good day. The Truck Series announced that he will be in this car full time next year. So Colleague Racing having a strong night.
Yeah, it's normally been just on the road courses where we've seen SVG have such a dominant performance. But now, as of late, AJ Allmendinger running well at the Roval, and then now putting the 8 car a lap down. So Sammy Smith, one of the playoff drivers, now being scored 1 lap down.
Yeah, damage on that stack up, that restart. The team didn't bring it to pit road to make repairs, thought the damage was insignificant, it would be fine. But this is a car that maybe didn't have winning speed earlier, but they were definitely a top 5, top 7 car. Here they are going a lap down.
Yeah, remember Jesse Love? He was in that same incident. They did come down pit road and fix that race car, and he just got back up to 10th place. So 2 different approaches, and if Philadelphia had to do that over, he would do something different. But Steve, you said it. It's, you hate to give up that track position, and it's just hard to convince yourself that's what you need to do.
Myatt Snyder right in front of the 8 and that 07. Kind of a last minute opportunity for Myatt to drive this car. It's good to see Myatt back behind the wheel in the Xfinity Series. A winner, won at Miami before, so he knows how to run at this mile and a half.
Let's listen in on the 7th radio of Allgaier.
Turn anything on a recover.
So it sounds like that now that the temperature or the debris is off the front, or I'm assuming it's temperature related things. So the 7, it started to charge a little bit better, but some debate on whether they should add some tape. The 81, Chandler Smith on pit road.
He's the first of the leaders to make their final stop. They move from the balance. All in this race car. Chandler's latest feedback for the line. It's really good. If I could just use a little tires and fuel and look like a piece of tape on the 81.
This is a big strategy play. I mean, 43 laps on this set, 58 to go. So math would say they should run 5 or 6, 7 more laps, but they're trying to get an advantage of the new tires. The 00 will also come to pit road. He was just inside the top 10. Herbst follows him. Kim.
And this car has not been in what it was at the beginning of the race. Cole complaining that it just gets tighter and tighter, cannot turn like he wants to as he makes his way down pit road. Crew chiefs reminding their drivers, pit road very slick. The first stops we're seeing under green, they're going to take 4 fresh Goodyear tires and Sunoco fuel for Cole Custer. As you see the chassis adjustment to free him up, Hardy.
Going out for a strong stage 1, not so good in stage 2 and 3 for Riley Herbst, but not too bad either. The car just still a little bit too free for Riley. You saw the chassis adjustment right there. Justin Allgaier coming down pit road. Yes, after that tape debate they had on the radio. I mean, Coleman said, we're going to add tape, and Allgaier said, really? We're going to add tape? Temperature issues twice today. Car just a little bit too free for Justin Allgaier, Dylan.
Eric Almirola has been in and amongst the top 10 all evening long, but not so happy on this run. Just said he was losing rear lateral, easy for me to say, and it was hard to trust the rear tires. They'll change tires and add fuel as well, Marty.
It's going to rough outing for Sam there. The car way too free here in stage 3. They've been encouraging him to run up the racetrack because that's where he needs to be when the car's free like that, Kim.
Hey, you're looking for a really good start. He said there's a little movement in the rear of the race car, but just a little snug in the front slight air pressure adjustment as they put on Goodyear tires and take that Sunoco fuel, Marty.
It's been a rough night for Austin Hill and his race team. He said the entry is better. We fixed part of that, but still way too tight in the center. And he said, if I go back to the gas, it just completely slides the nose from corner exit off. So sort of the last of those who were here in the playoffs is all there. Gets a spot back from Chandler Smith on the racetrack.
Well, that spot matters because they're trying to run down the 16 of Allmendinger, who's going to be blending off pit road on the backstretch. These Xfinity cars take a little bit of time to get up to speed, but you see the car, bottom of the screen, the white car, white hood 16 of Allmendinger. Even though he ran the extra lap, he did okay, and I really think it comes down to traffic. The 7 and the 81 were racing each other, holding each other up, and here once again the 7 with a swerve. Allgaier's decision making in traffic has been un-Allgaier-like today. Once again, another swerve behind the 2. So, I like the 16's call to run an extra lap. I like the 7's call to come a lap early, but they just didn't have that clean out lap. They got racing with the 81, cost them a chance to flip the 16 on the strategy.
7 was 2 seconds behind Allmendinger when those pit stops started, and it's a larger gap than that.
And it should go the other way.
Exactly. Right? With the 7 pitting earlier, he should have come out and lowered that gap. But instead, because of that traffic that you spoke about, Allgaier actually stretched it out. I'm sorry, Allmendinger stretched it out.
And you see cars that have yet to pit. Love, Sieg, Williams, Snyder, Smith. Perfect role for them. As the caution comes out right now, they could service their car into yellow.
Remember, we saw Sammy Smith go a lap down, but because he's staying out on the racetrack, is in front of those that were up front, Allgaier, and Allmendinger. Now, Wyatt Snyder has made his way to pit road. Jesse Love also coming to pit road, we see. Kim.
Jesse Love pitting from the lead. Pretty good rebound for him after getting a hold nose from one of those earlier incidents. He said he was a little bit loose, especially on exit, but wants no adjustments on this stop. So the call's going to be 4 fresh Goodyear tires, Sunoco fuel, and again, no adjustments for rookie Jesse Love.
Smith in the 8th. You see him falling back behind Allgaier and Chandler Smith now. That service continues for Jesse Love.
Rest of the 81 car really struggled to start this race. Did not like his car at all. They made some good changes to it.
Josh Williams, the only one still that has not come to pit road that's at the top of this list here. And now he is on pit road. He gives the lead up, and Allmendinger back out in front. 50 to go from Las Vegas. Can he hang on and get win number 1 of 2024?
Since cycling off of pit road, A.J. Allmendinger not quite as quick as that of Justin Allgaier. The lead is cut down to a 1.5 seconds. It was initially a little more than 2.5 seconds off the lead. There is a ton of lap traffic out in front of the 16 as of right now that he's trying to navigate through. Allgaier will then have to catch that lap traffic very soon as well. Race lead now 1.8 second difference. AJ out in front, Justin Allgaier, J.A. in second. 2.2 seconds back is Chandler Smith in third. Ryan Sieg is 4.6 seconds off the lead in fourth, and Cole Custer rounds out the top 5 in fifth at 8.5 seconds off the lead. Just behind him is his teammate Riley Herbst in sixth, 8.9 seconds back, 9.9 seconds back for Parker Kligerman in seventh. Brandon Jones back up to eighth, 11.8 seconds off the lead. Sammy Smith, who has not pitted yet, is 12.3 seconds back in ninth, and Eric Almirola rounds out the top 10 in 10th, and Almirola is 15.3 seconds behind leader A.J. Allmendinger. Very tight squeeze. AJ getting by the 27 of Jeb Burton as well. Pit stop time. They were talking about Allgaier having to race with the 81 when he first cycled off of pit road, costing him time. He was also 0.6 slower on the overall 4-tire pit stop. The pit crew was for Allgaier versus AJ. AJ had a 15.2 second pit stop, 15.8 seconds on the 17, so they definitely lost some time there, a little over half a second as well. Despite, again, as they mentioned, pitting a lap earlier. And at that point in the run, we had seen the lap times fall about 2 seconds or so from where they were at the beginning of the run over the course of about those just less than 60 green flag laps on them. So 2 at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We are headed down the home stretch. .45 laps left at this point in the race with where we're at right now. Be interesting to see where this lead is going to take to. .1 second lead now built up. Last couple laps, AJ's extended that lead back out again. I think he was just getting held up in the lap traffic he was having to deal with for quite some time. Once he got through it, and then the 7 of Allgaier caught up to it, AJ's increased his lead back up at least a little bit since. Overall, it does seem like Allgaier did gain a little bit of time because he was about 2.6 seconds off the lead when the commercial first broke. And now it's 2.1. So still a net gain for the 7 through that. We'll see if we get any more heavier lap traffic in this one. That will continue to plague the race leader as of currently. Next Saturday's race on the CW for the NASCAR Xfinity Series will begin at 4 p.m. Eastern. Our live commentary coverage for tomorrow's NASCAR Cup Series race will begin at 2 p.m. Eastern with our pre-race show. So be sure to tune in for that one. As well, staying tuned here through the rest of the night. Our like goal is to get to 50 likes on the stream, and as of right now, we are at 33 still, so be sure to hit that like button if you haven't done so yet. Nearly complete darkness now in the Las Vegas, Nevada area. Around this South Point Casino, well, tomorrow's race is South Point 400, but around the Ambetter Health 302 race. Lengthy pit stop for Sammy Smith as they finally go to make some repair work on the nose of that race car that they did not do during the caution, and this is a very lengthy stop. He lost a lot of time, green flag condition-wise, losing even more time here, and the Talladega winner struggling. Is definitely going to fall off the lead lap. Probably would have anyway. He was just staying out as long as he could for fuel purposes in case he could have caught a caution. Once he fell a lap down again is when they decided to come to pit road and again, a lengthy stop. Only 15 cars are currently on the lead lap, last of which being Anthony Alfredo in 15th. Daniel Dye, first car lap down as we run in 16th, 42 laps to go. 2.7 second lead now built up for AJ over Allgaier again. And once more, the current point standings as we run have Allmendinger as the leader. Obviously, if he wins, he is in the championship 4. AJ Allmendinger plus 36 points currently. Cole Custer plus 21. Plus 12 for Chandler Smith, last driver in. Austin Hill minus 12, minus 19 for Jesse Love. Sam Mayer at minus 20 points, and Sammy Smith minus 51. A lot of racing still to go, though. They do not have to pit anymore if it stays green to the end of the race, so if we catch a caution, each of these teams still have one set of tires left to the end of the race.
It's a little tube from the cowl that goes down into the carburetor that fills the bowls of the carburetor up to allow the car to fire. So look, basically, normal pit stop over here, but you got to be looking in this area of the car right here, just at the base of the window. So the guy goes back after the tear off, right side's done, and then they know they have an issue. So they're going to change the left side, and they start working on the tape because now the car is out of gas. Tire changer does this. And you're going to see as the repairs continue. So they're really just doing repairs because they're waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. And then look up at this area right here. A crew member is going to actually add fuel to the car. There's the squeeze bottle. Now, the frustrating part is that fuel should have been going in a long, long time ago. This is something that should have been done as soon as the car shut off. So they're going to lose a couple laps just trying to get the car refueled.
Levin had some issues on pit road just a minute ago.
Oh man.
Oh, boy. Yeah. You got to leave that. That's going to be tight. That's not going to. I mean, these
that
are the
cap's got to be on.
These are the mistakes. You know when you watch those Nick Saban videos of him losing his mind in practice about the details. These are the things that, as a crew chief, you lose your mind on. If you're the fueler, it is inexcusable for the cap of the dump can to come loose.
And that's where you fill fuel into it, right? So
You don't take you used to take the dump can apart and fill it through the top. Now you don't do all that. There's just a fill cap. It's as simple as it comes. If anybody's ever filled a jet ski, it's basically the same style cap. It's not that hard.
Why did it take us 50 years to put a cap on the fuel?
Yeah.
Seems like a simple solution.
Well, while all of that was happening, AJ Allmendinger has put 3 seconds now between himself and Allgaier. Remember, before the stops, it was 2 seconds. Added a second to that. Ryan Sieg running 3rd. Chandler Smith is 4th. Riley Herbst in 5th right now. Let's talk a little bit about these playoff drivers. We'll go through the field. We'll start with you, Kim.
Looking for his first win of 2024. When I spent time with the team yesterday, I kind of asked their outlook on this round, and they said, we get our stuff right, this round could be absolutely great for us. Team Alex Young told me we're either hitting on a great setup this year or missing it awfully, and it's really slow. Seems like they have hit on the right setup here this weekend. Again, we've mentioned multiple times looking for the first win of 2024. Marty, if they were to get the win here, likely the most important win of any driver this season so far.
Kim at NASCAR Countdown Live. Brad Daugherty asks the question, which Justin Allgaier shows up for the round of 8? Answers so far, the Allgaier who almost won the regular season title. They have been very impressive today despite several moments of adversity. So far, they've earned the most points, sitting in second right now, Dylan.
Toyota driver update checks us in with Chandler Smith, who runs in the 4th spot. Told me earlier this week, and this place has always clicked for me. Results certainly speak to that as well. But they are on pace for their 7th straight top 5 finish. This has just been a remarkable stretch for this 81 car. Chandler said, we're doing things right, but it does not get any easier from here. We have to keep stepping up our game, and they have today with the car that wasn't perfect early on, Ken.
Dylan, defending champion Cole Custer's display in the 6th position. They're hoping to replicate the weekend SHR had here last fall when Riley Hurts, his teammate, won the race. If you remember, Cole finished 3rd, won a stage, and like 62 laps in the race last fall. Hasn't quite been that situation after a heroic first stage. Remember, he took tires, restarted 15, and then finished that stage first, winning the stage. It just has not been the rest of the race he's wanted. That car has gone extremely tight, so have not set up the recovery for these cooler temperatures, ending the race under 9. As we jump to the 9th place running car, Jesse Love, this driver, what a rebound after being caught up in part of that incident. It had a hole in the nose. They repaired that. Crew Chief Danny Stockman told his driver, it is not going to affect you. I promise you, we can finish this race strong. But when I spoke with Jesse earlier this week on what his thoughts were, what would happen if he didn't move on to the championship board, he said, I've never lost a championship on pavement, but I've run a series full time. It would be an absolute disappointment. We are trying to show up and get ourselves into championship contention in Phoenix, Marty.
And considering that Austin Hill had won at Las Vegas before and finished 4th here just 7 months ago, this was not the night they expected for RCR and the 21 team. The good news is they have made the car a little bit better here, turning some pretty decent lap times right now, sitting in the 12th position. Kind of a very similar story for Sam Mayer. When I talked to him, he said, honestly, this track is the one I'm most worried about
We got
in
a
the
spinner
round
on the
8.
front stretch here. Sorry about that, Marty, but the 39, Kyle Sieg has spun through the grass and brought out the caution. He was coming off of turn 4. Both right side tires down on that one.
13 cars in the lead lap right now.
Hear the frustration behind the wheel. You mentioned it, Rick, the driver swap or number swap. How are you going to look at it between the Sieg brothers? It's a business decision, trying to get owners' points in certain situations that help them. At the beginning of next year, in the first 3 races, if we have rain, it will help qualifying as well. Let's see what happens with 39, Jeff.
There's Kyle C. Good stride. Hey, gets the pay. Back end just comes around.
So you had mentioned it, 14 cars in the lead lap. All the leaders should have an extra set of tires in the pits, I believe.
Started with 4 sets, 3 line.
Yeah, so there you go. Everybody has stickers left. If you have them, now's the time. Now's the time. You cannot wait. Remember earlier we were on board with the 00. Now they had a few more laps on his tires, but he drove all the way up and won that stage. Just made it look so easy for Cole Custer. I think there would be a question mark if we hadn't had seen that earlier. But after seeing that, there's just no way you can sit and wait on this last set of tires. I think you have to take them. Now, there is a Hail Mary. If you are, say, Brandon Jones or somebody with this fewer cars in the lead lap, maybe you don't take your tires now. We run 15 laps and get another yellow. But that would be really excellent timing. And if you go the wrong way and you don't get it, you're going to finish 15th. So I think everybody's just going to pin.
Now this puts a lot of pressure, as we heard from Kim earlier, on the crew members.
Well, for me, the crew I have circled is the pit crew of the 28 and Ryan Sieg. I think Ryan Sieg has maybe the best car here tonight. He's been very patient, Jeff, with the playoff cars. You mentioned that battle with the 81, the battle with the 7, as he's passed these guys. Tons of respect.
Top 5 car.
Last
for sure.
time down pit road, they lost 3
Best
or 4
car.
spots. They don't have to gain 1 or 2, but if they can get him off pit road in the front 2 rows, I would love to see Ryan Sieg have a shot at this.
Ryan Sieg had made his way up to second behind Allmendinger.
And we were. There's a 16 car. How many cars are between Ryan Sieg and the 16. That matters about spacing coming on to pit road. The 16 can get down pit road before the 28 car is able to close that gap. Then it's a major advantage. The guys in the outside lane, they'll pull up and pull as far forward as they can to allow that 28 car to close that gap.
Well, guy being a very aggressive that move right there.
Yeah, the rule is you can't pull up to pit. However, if people start giving you that spot, then you can get real aggressive on it. But if CC is just afraid to do it. Here he comes.
Here he is.
Closing that gap. Gets within 2 car lengths.
Dylan.
Chandler Smith pits from fourth, said the race car is exactly where it needs to be. Only request is maybe just a little bit more front turn on throttle to put their last set of sticker figures on, more tires and fuel count.
You see AJ Allmendinger, the leader in the middle right there. He's going to terminate. Ryan Sieg will actually hit behind him, but right now, AJ saying the car is about to spin all night. They'll take 4 fresh Goodyear tires on this stop, Marty.
That's what all guys said. Whatever we do, we have to take out the last air pressure adjustment we did. Jim Coleman going to oblige with number 12. Only a little bit of fuel before fresh Goodyear tires, and we'll see if you see AJ Allmendinger flash by and a few other cars flash by Justin Allgaier. Billy's a few spots here on pit road. Great job by that 21 crew. Held that second place position to your point, Jeff. I'm sorry, 28 crew. I'm so used to seeing the 21 as a crew. It just came up. But anyway.
Yeah, very impressive. We'll see if Ryan C could finish the deal once they get back out there. Restart coming up.
This would definitely be a pretty cool Ryan Sieg upset victory if he can finally get that first career win here today. A long-time Xfinity Series driver with his family-owned team and having a great night tonight in that 28 car. Very reminiscent to that of when he ran well at Texas and finished second by a nose earlier this season. He got to the lead on a late race restart, drove out when the battle for second was intense, and unfortunately Sam Mayer had caught him by the final lap. An overdrive in turns 1 and 2 by Sieg allowed for Mayer to get underneath him. The Mayer overdrove 3 and 4, almost gave it right back up, but needless to say, here we are. So AJ Allmendinger, again, will be the leader in the restart. Ryan Sieg will be second. We've seen the outside lane struggle firing out of the restart zone at times today. So Sieg's definitely going to have to be on his A game on this restart to not lose a bunch of ground to AJ. Chandler Smith back up there in contention. He's been aggressive in past races on these late race restarts. We'll see him maybe try to push the issue. Allgaier going to be back probably around row 3 now. We've seen a lot of drivers go to the apron on these restarts, passing the start-finish line. And we've seen a lot of 4 wide. Almost every restart we've had 4 wide somewhere around the racetrack. May happen again here late. Probably going to have right around the ballpark of 25 laps to go for this ensuing restart. We'll take our final ad break of the stream here. You're listening live to the Ambetter Health 302 at Las Vegas Motor Speedway for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Quite a few drivers taking the wave around. Maybe could fall into a pretty good strategy play. If we do end up getting a caution after several green flag laps, then they will have a fresh tire advantage because they will still have 1 set left. Everybody that was on the lead lap pitted during this caution of the 15. So they are on their final set of tires from now to the finish of this race. Kyle Weatherman, Matt DiBenedetto, Josh Williams, Jeremy Clements, Brendan Poole, Jeb Burton, Corey Heim all received the all received the wave around. Free pass went to Daniel Dye in 16th. Anthony Alfredo. Alfredo had gotten the free pass at 15th. Just went a lap down before the caution, so Dye, another one of the free pass cars. So in total, we had 7 cars end up taking the free pass, or the wave around, excuse me. Keep getting those two mixed up. Lights are out of the pace car, so they will be going green this time. Allmendinger inside of the front row here. That has been the preferred lane today. That is for certain. The outside has taken control once or twice, but that's also been with the control car in the outside lane. I think the control cars had a lot better restarts on a regular basis on the inside. Brandon Jones got split 3 wide middle when he was row 1 on the inside. That's how Sammy Smith got his first and only lead of the day in the very early going of this race. So I'd imagine that's a move that Chandler Smith is going to try to pull off here. Allgaier elects the outside lane for the restart of row 3, so it puts Parker Kligerman underneath him on the inside of that row. 25 laps to go on the restart here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And again, a spot for the Final Four, the Championship 4 on the line for any one of those 8 playoff drivers that can get to victory lane today. Quite a few of them up in contention for the win here late. Green flag back in the air. AJ waits to the back half of the restart zone to get going. He did that earlier from the lead as well. Rear wheel spin on the restart for Ryan Sieg, Ryan Sieg trying to block to the outside of Riley Herbst. He's going to lose a couple positions here initially. Parker Kligerman to the inside of the 28 of Sieg now for third, side by side. Herbst clear for fifth. Justin Allgaier got held up, obviously, in that outside lane as well. 3 wide to the bottom for third goes Herbst. He gets pinched off into turns 3 and 4. Sieg really chopped the nose off of the 48 in the middle groove as well to hang on to that third spot. So rear wheel spin on the restart zone for Ryan Sieg. Drops him back 1 position. We'll see if he can get it back. Chandler Smith moves to second, and AJ Allmendinger continues to hold on with the lead. Justin Allgaier to the outside for 5th place on Riley Herbst. Barely was able to fend off Sheldon Crate for 6th, and now trying to pick up another spot for 5th here before long. Doesn't want those top 4 cars impossible because you just never know what could happen the next 2 races of the round. There's no insurance, especially when you get this late in the playoffs. Even though Justin Allgaier, as of right now, is 33 points above the cut line as we run. With AJ Allmendinger obviously in the lead, he would be in the Championship 4 with a win. We still don't know what the points predicament would look like if he fell out of the lead and finished second, because we haven't seen him in second for quite some time. 3 wide in the restart around Almirola, and Sam Mayer will contact in turns 1 and 2. A little bit ago, they got very loose. Lost some time. Ryan Sieg has taken over the 2nd place position about a lap and a half ago away from Chandler Smith. They come up on 21 laps to go. He got underneath him through 1 and 2, completed the pass on the other end of the track through 3 and 4. Justin Allgaier also got to move up a spot in the leaderboard to 4th as he gets by Parker Kligerman. Allgaier's had good fire off on the short run speed today. Lacked quite a bit on that long run, but was losing some voltage and maybe some power with the debris on the nose. Sieg did get back around him well after the debris was taken off and after those green flag pit stops in the middle of the stage as well. Justin trying to get some of this time back. Herbst makes a pass for 5th on Kligerman. Kligerman falls to 6th. Gap is about 7 to 8 tenths of a second between the 16 and the 28 at the front of the field. Allgaier still looking to try to make a pass. 20 to go here at Vegas.
Might have as much talent as anybody he's ever worked with, and we're seeing it a lot this year.
Think about, the heartbreak earlier in the year. If he could come back and win here, I know he's not a playoff car, but I don't think Ryan Sieg will care.
Yeah.
He's going to have a heck of a celebration.
We talked about how close it was. 2 1,000ths of a second. Ryan Sieg being in the playoff. That's him in the 39. And Sam Mayer at the line edges him out by inches, mere inches.
It's unbelievable.
And had so much speed in that race. And this was late. Clearly frustrated.
Parker Kligerman on the inside of the 48 with Riley Herbst in the 98 going by. Herbst, a Vegas native. Noah Gregson, also a Vegas native. A lot of pictures going around of those two growing up together. At the racetracks, kind of cutting their teeth.
Oh, yeah. Big lap by the 28. Jeff, I saw you pointing at the screen. You wanted to confirm what we saw out the window, which is that the 28 has taken 3 or 4 car lengths off the lead of the 16.
Major speed over in 3 and 4 that last lap. Let's see if he can do it again this lap. Point of entry speed is way quicker than Allmendinger. This has been a good race for Colleague and Allmendinger. They have not won a race this year except for on road courses. It just have not had winning pace at mile and a half, and right now does not have the pace that Sieg has.
Can you imagine, Jeff, 37 years old, 363 starts in the Xfinity Series, still looking for that first win. I don't know if you're going to win one. Vegas is quite the town to do it in.
I'm gonna say.
It'd be a big night for Ryan Sieg and this group if he can pull it off.
His team might not leave Vegas until they have to go to Miami.
I agree. Straight to Miami from here.
Yeah. And the gap closes again. Ryan Sieg is coming. 16 laps. Now can he get past him once he gets there? He's been so strong.
Think about what's on the line right here for the 16 of Allmendinger. If he wins this race, he is going to Phoenix with a chance to win a championship. There can be nothing more motivating than that.
The question is, can you afford to wreck? I mean, you had a great points day. You've scored 16 stage points. I mean, are you willing to beat and bang if you do get side by side?
We're getting ready to find out.
I guess.
Yeah, it's happening quickly.
Now, as the 28 gets closer to the 16, it's going to become more difficult because he's starting to get air taken away from his car. So Ryan Sieg is going to have to find a little something different. He's going to run the fastest line for him until he proves it won't work. Because what he wants to do is he wants to get to that rear bumper of the 16, take the air off of his car, and then drive underneath him. But if Allmendinger can maintain pace and Sieg can't catch him, then Sieg is going to be forced to try something different.
My little concern with the 16 is his car's driving so good, he makes this big late arc. What I don't like about that is watch this 28 car. He
Dives
gets
it
about
in
2
earlier.
for a sooner,
Yep.
and that's why he carries the entry speed, because the 16 just doesn't shut the air off. A little bit quicker to the bottom there. To your point, Jeff, at some point, Allmendinger has to run more of a defensive line, get to the bottom maybe a little earlier.
I think for right now, though, I think the 16 running that a little bit later arc, I think that's an advantage, Steve, because the 28 of Sieg, as this run goes on, there you go, an adjustment. That's the first adjustment that he's made.
When I like it, I think it's going to work. He's going to have a little momentum on corner exit. So just in his first attempt, now Allmendinger's going to be guessing when he gets to 1 and 2 what lane he should be running.
If Sieg has to keep turning earlier than the 16, getting in the corner, that works okay on new tires. But as the tires get older and get hot, now he's stressing those tires and abusing them.
Kim, you've got some more on Ryan Sieg.
Yeah, great drive by Ryan Sieg. A couple things to remember as we look at the pace of this race car. They have an alliance with Stewart Haas Racing, and we know how strong that team has been here with Riley winning this race last year. Cole finished second in the spring. And then, in addition to that, this car he's running, we talked about Ryan Sieg being so close to his first career win back at Texas Motor Speedway. This is the car from Texas. So what redemption would it be if he won here at Vegas with the car he almost won at back in Texas?
That's a fast car.
Different
Don't wreck
line.
it.
Going to help him on corner exit.
It has.
Sieg has been so much better through turns 1 and 2 here recently since changing his line. Maybe not as much in 3 and 4, but 1 and 2, he's gaining a lot of ground. And he's within about a half a car length behind Allmendinger, coming up on 10 laps to go this time by. More corner exit speed off turn 4. A lower exit as well for Sieg as he continues to put the pressure and win this race. Ryan Sieg, obviously, again, 363 career Xfinity races, no wins. Trying to get his first. Journeyman through the Xfinity Series. A family-owned operation. Him and his brother driving every weekend now in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. And now, Sieg, will it be his time to shine? 9 laps left at the line. Ryan Sieg leads that lap by inches, door-to-door for the lead as they drive off into turn 1. Sieg on the inside lane. Slides the rear tires at corner entry. He's really loose. And he's out of shape, and he's going to lose a lot of ground. He overdrove it. Out of shape through the bumps. They cleared the 74 of Cram. By the way, Justin Allgaier's back in third. And he's about 1.1 seconds off the race lead. Half a second back is Ryan Sieg now of A.J. Allmendinger. A.J. catches a break. 8 laps to go. And Ryan Sieg running back down a second time. He was able to lead 1 lap, but that was about it. Sammy Smith slow on the racetrack through turns 1 and 2. And I don't know if he's going to make it back to pit road. He is dangerously slow. They're going to have to throw a caution. 7 laps left. And the caution flag is out again here at Las Vegas. So with 7 laps to go, the yellow flag has been displayed. And A.J. Allmendinger and Ryan Sieg are going to have one more restart to have to deal with each other as well as those first few in line behind them. Now, this will be the second attempt Sieg will be on the front row for a restart, but he did lose a spot the last time. He had enough green flag laps to get it back and get back to AJ, but on this next restart, he's not going to have enough green flag laps to afford to lose that kind of time again and have a shot at the win still. Manufacturer side of things in this race, you got a Chevy, Ford, Chevy, Toyota, Chevy in the top 5. And then 2 more Ford, Chevy, Toyota, Chevy. So pretty even with the manufacturers running up at the front of the field here today. 3 Fords, 3 Toyotas, 4 Chevys all in the top 10. And obviously 1 more Chevys in the Xfinity Series field compared to any other manufacturer. So only 5 Fords, I believe, that run full-time in the Xfinity Series as it is. And 3 of them are in the top 7 here. Obviously, both SHR Fords and this 28 of Sieg, though. Usually it's the 39. But 28 here today. Same car, but different number. Sammy Smith is on pit road now. Assume he probably got some assistance to get down there. Falls a couple more laps down. Rough go at it for Sammy. He's going to be in a must-win situation like he was last round. He was able to get a win at Talladega, so who knows? Maybe he can go out there and win again. I think Martinsville could be a good track for Sammy Smith. He's had some good runs there with JGR last season. And all those drivers, by the way, that took the wave around, they're going to be able to pit for 4 fresh good years here, and they're going to have an advantage with a few laps to go.
10. So this is where the 28 gets a little bit loose here in 1 and 2.
Watch the 16. Watch what A.J. Allmendinger does. Actually, he was very respectful. I thought he probably got a little closer to the 28, but he never changed his lane. Just the 28 is just loose.
Wasn't down on the white line through 1 and 2. Frustration there.
It is so difficult, Rick. When you're driving that car and you drive underneath somebody and you get loose, it is a handful.
It's that last restart. You saw it maybe spin the tires a little bit there for Ryan Sieg. Just got a little bit squirrely.
Yeah, I think that's what happened. So the 28 coming into this restart zone, remember, a lot of experience, but not a lot of experience on the front row. And it restarts very differently. So the 16 was the control car. The 16 has the right to accelerate between line 1 and line 2 in the restart zone. And I think Allmendinger did a nice job, and I think Sieg just got a little aggressive with the throttle. And once you kind of break traction on those rear tires, at that point you just can't get them hooked back up. You're behind, Jeff. There's nothing you can do.
And so let's look at it again. So Allmendinger, he launches late in the restart
Yeah,
zone,
he's been doing that every
which
time.
I would have thought was an advantage to the 28.
But I think he's taking advantage of the 28's inexperience on the front row. I think if that is Riley Herbst or another driver that runs up there, I think they roll up onto Allmendinger. I don't think he wants to go late like that.
I don't know, because so AJ actually, he rolled up late on the restart before that when he was in the lead, and I think Justin Allgaier was on the outside at that time, which would have been the restart like real early in stage 3 after the Taylor Gray incident. And he got a good launch on him by going late in the zone as well. So I personally think that that's why he ended up doing that again. Maybe you could also add in the fact, yes, there was an experience for C. I think he's definitely going to have to flirt around with where he restarts again. I don't think he can wait till the end this time. Now that Sieg has had a front row restart once. But still an inexperience level of restarting on the front row with this restart zone. Advantage has to be to the 16. But then, you're going to have Justin Allgaier, who may take inside of row number 1. And if he does, will he try to make it 3 wide to the bottom on the restart if he times it out well? Which we've already seen somebody do that for JRM earlier tonight against Sammy Smith. Very early in the race was able to make a successful 3 wide move down into turn 1. And maybe Justin Allgaier was taking notes, and he can do that. I believe we'll be getting the 1 to go signal this time by. Now, this is not going to be an overtime restart, but we will have 2 laps to go when we get back to racing. So we are right at the scheduled distance if this goes to the finish. But it will be a green-white checker shootout, and as predicted, AJ on the inside and Ryan Sieg on the outside for row 1. Row 2 inside, Justin Allgaier outside for Chandler Smith. Row 3, Cole Custer on the outside, Kligerman down low. Jesse Love outside row 4, Riley Herbst inside of row 4. This is crew chief for Ryan Sieg.
All I can do now. Because Cecino walked up and he told Madison, how are your nerves? He said, not great. I am so nervous right now because we have a real shot to win this thing. He honestly believed, in his opinion, Steve, the best car.
You know, Marty.
So Ryan Sieg will be outside again, row 1 on the restart. As far as the playoff drivers trying to lock themselves into the championship 4, you have 3 of them in those top 4 positions, 1st, 3rd, and 4th. AJ obviously leading. Allgaier, Chandler Smith, row 2, and even Cole Custer back there in row 3 on the outside lane of that restart. It could be a long shot to win it here in this final go at it. Obviously, we all know the rules by now. We have a lot of late race restarts nowadays in NASCAR. They get to the white flag, next flag ends the race, whether it's the yellow or the checker. It's when the race leader gets to the start-finish line is when the white flag or final lap is indicated. So here we go. AJ looking for that good launch again. Where will Ryan Sieg go? Sieg trying to stay with him the best he can. Green flag back in the air. AJ went in the middle of the zone that time and got a push from the 7 of Allgaier. AJ's clear going off into 1 and 2. Ryan Sieg trying to hold on for 2nd as he drives it in deep on the outside lane. Allgaier down low. Sieg is clear. Corner exit off of turn 2. So he lost some ground initially with a great shot that the 7 gave the 16. And now the 28 is trying to play catch up, and he's got a little less than a lap and a half to get after him. Now coming up on 1 lap to go. 1.5 miles left. AJ Allmendinger leads, 1 lap to go. And Ryan Sieg trying to get that first curve win is going to be pushing extremely hard here. He's gained a lot of ground through 1 and 2. That's probably his best end of the racetrack all night. Just a half a lane lower than the 16. He gains ground yet again. Back straightaway. He's going to have to drive it in deep. It's going to be difficult for Sieg. We'll see if he can do it. Into turns 3 and 4 to the bottom of the racetrack. Trying to stay glued to the inside on the white line. Gains ground on Allmendinger, but not enough. And AJ Allmendinger is going to hold on and win on a late race restart at Vegas. And he advances to the championship 4. Ryan Sieg with a 2nd place run yet again on the season on another 1.5 miles. But as good as that car is, bringing the same car from Texas here today, save it for another 1.5 miles, maybe next week at Homestead. Could be the opportunity again for Ryan Sieg. If not next week, maybe another 1.5 miles sometime next year. Vegas in the spring. He'll be a contender again sometime soon. But tonight is AJ Allmendinger's night. He really dominated this final stage. I think he led every green flag lap of stage 3. Because he led 102 laps. I think he got to the lead on that first restart on Allgaier. No, they won the race off pit road. That's what it was. They won the race off pit road during the stage 2 break. I don't think he lost the lead that entire final stage. Outside of, obviously, green flag pit stop cycling. But other than that, yeah, he led every other lap. Held on a few different restarts. Deserving winner here tonight, AJ Allmendinger, as he leads by far the most laps, 102 out of 201 laps led on the day, just over half the race. Margin of victory, 1/10 of a second. Total time, 2 hours, 22 minutes, 12 seconds. Average race speed of 124.76 miles per hour. 24 cars finished on the lead lap. AJ led 3 different times en route to his victory. Again, 102 laps led for him. 42 laps led for stage 2 winner Justin Allgaier. Pole sitter Brandon Jones led for 12. Cole Custer won stage 1, and he ended up leading for 31 laps. 5 laps led for Sammy Smith, 4 for Riley Herbst, 3 for Jesse Love, 1 for Parker Kligerman in the middle, green flag stops. Ryan Sieg actually led 2 laps in that late battle with Allmendinger. Both of them side by side at the line. 2 different times. 9 different drivers led at least 1 lap in the race today, and we ended up with 14 lead changes. Here is an exuberant A.J. Allmendinger on the front stretch with his post-race interview.
And when it matters the most, what's the emotion right now for you?
I absolutely love these guys and girls at college racing. Been such up and down. But what I love about them is we stick together. We keep fighting. First of all, happy birthday, Matt Collin. The boss's birthday. I told you I was getting you a trophy, baby. Let's go. Come on. Come. I love you. Tara, Arrow, my mom and dad, my whole family, all my family and friends. They see how much I care, and I put it on myself. Oh, man. This modern day garage Chevy was absolutely hooked up as fast as Xfinity Internet. Thank you guys for all you do for this sport, Xfinity. Celsius, Action Industries, leaf filter gutter protection. There's a lot more I'm forgetting. It's God, what a way to get to Phoenix after a year that we've had. Let's go win a championship. Let's go.
That's the feel the see from a race winner. This team now has 2 extra weeks to prepare for a championship run at Phoenix.
So important for playoff drivers to gain that advantage. And it happened.
Well, AJ's definitely got that advantage. First win of the year comes in a crucial time of the season. Again, he has punched his ticket to the championship 4 at Phoenix in a few weeks. Other race statistics before we go through the finishing results of this one would have been that there was 7 cautions in the race today. 3 of them for incident in stage 3, lap 96, 170, and 194. 1 caution in stage 2, which was just the stage end at lap 90. 3 of them in stage 1, the stage end at lap 45. Incident at lap 34. Debris on the backstretch following an incident at lap 4 were our 7 total yellows. Again, A.J. Allmendinger, congrats to him. He is our race winner in tonight's Ambetter Health 302 at Las Vegas. Ryan Sieg ends up second. The 7er, Justin Allgaier, finishes in 3rd. Chandler Smith in 4th. Parker Kligerman 5th. Jesse Love 6th. Riley Herbst 7th. Cole Custer 8th. Sheldon Creed 9th. And Austin Hill 10th. Corey Hyman 11th. Daniel Dye 12th. Eric Almirola 13th. Sam Mayer 14th. And Josh Williams 15th. 16th for Matt DiBenedetto, Brandon Jones 17th, Jeremy Clements 18th, Anthony Alfredo 19th, and Kyle Weatherman in 20th. Brandon Poole 21st, 22nd for Parker Retzlaff, 23rd, Myatt Snyder and Jeb Burton, last car in the lead lap, finishes 24th. J.J. Ailey 2 laps down in 25th, Kyle Sieg in 26th, 2 laps down. Dylan Lupton 3 laps down in 28th, Garrett Smithley 3 laps down 29th, same for Joey Gase in 30th, and Blaine Perkins in 31st. Sammy Smith 4 laps down at 32nd, furthest back finishing playoff driver tonight. Taylor Gray also 4 laps down at 33rd. Ryan Vargas in 34th. 5 laps down for Akinori Agata in 35th. Dawson Cramp 36th. 8 laps down. 2 cars DNF today. Leland Honeyman and Shane Van Gisbergen finishing 37th and 38th. SVG with the engine failure back at stage 1. And actually, he had the engine issue back at stage 1 at lap 35. Apparently, he came back out on the track in the final stage and did end up finishing more laps. He ended up 77, so getting a little extra seat time there. That did not take place, resulting in a caution, so that's why he was able to return to the track. He wasn't under a DVP clock. But did not pick up any extra positions in his race finishing results. Remember, those guys that were eliminated from the playoffs could still finish as high as 5th in the point standings. But obviously, SVG, with the wreck at Dega and a last place finish here today, it's going to be tough for him to finish that high in the point standings, but still searching for a top 10 points finish, which is definitely still plausible. All right. Appreciate everybody tuning in for tonight's live commentary stream of the Ambetter Health 302 at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Tune in tomorrow afternoon for our NASCAR Cup Series race coverage. We'll begin things off with our pre-race at 2 p.m. Eastern. Hope to see you for that. And more live commentary, obviously, will continue on into next week. as the Xfinity Series heads to Homestead for the second race of the round of 8. 3 Xfinity races left. 3 more truck races, still 4 Cup, one of which tomorrow afternoon. Again, 2 p.m. Eastern start time at Vegas. Hope to see you for that and much more this season. Thanks for watching, everybody, and have a good rest of your Saturday night.